welcome to another episode of the HELLION ARTSHOW, and I am here today with our special guest, Missrena, who
Hello.
is the creator of Black Rhapsody, and you're the creator and the artist, or you're like doing everything?
No,
Is that
I
right?
am the writer.
Oh, okay, you're just the writer, okay.
Oh,
I thought you were also the artist.
No.
I guess we've only spoken like once before this on stream, but your project looks really awesome, and whoever the artist is I mean, the idea is really awesome, but whoever the artist is doing a fantastic job, so we're gonna take a look at that. I'm very excited. And also my co-hosts, AC and Nick.
Hey guys.
Thanks for
hello.
joining. Yeah. So
Welcome.
very excited to have another manga style project on here that's going to be on Indiegogo, and you're in the signups now, but the campaign will be live sometime soon. Yeah, I saw Black Rhapsody, and I was like, this looks like I think your pitch was it's Gem and the Holograms meets Cthulhu, which is
It's-
very apt.
It's more Madoka Magica meets Berserk with a bit of Gemini hologram sprinkled in.
There you go. Okay. All right. But it's kind of hard to describe. 'Cause I was like, how do I describe this concisely? Because it's like you got the magical girls, but then you got the like Lovecraftian horror, Berserk kind of stuff, and then you also have they're like a band. So I was like, magical music girls with Lovecraft.
But at the same time, like it hasn't been done in music to actually make like magical girls kind of like into a darker thing, like again bringing up Madoka Magica and stuff.
Yeah.
So just it's like dark magical girls, and there's also music in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's good. But first, let's say hi to the chat. Hello.
Hi, chat.
We have
chat.
quite a few people.
Great.
Don't make fun of my voice. Shut up. Hello, 24 Eyes. And Oliver, what's up? Pops is here. Don't go solo.
Hey,
We have a lot of
Pops. Hey,
people
Pops.
today. Yeah, hey Pops. And Norin is here. I had a better pitch for Black Rhapsody. I don't know what. I didn't. Not really. I think we were just like mixing and matching a few different things that were all magical girls with gem and then tentacle horror. That came out wrong, but
Oh, God.
Matt Barr,
Yay.
hello.
Thank God she did not say tentacle porn. That would have. Oh God.
I mean, I don't slip up that badly. It's different. Tentacle porn, tentacle horror. See? It's different.
yeah.
It's different things. What about hi? We have so many people. Jeremy Birds, Maromi. Let's see. Norrin is jamming along with the intro. Shane, glad you can join us. I know it's like super early morning over there, but is it? Is early morning? Is it? What's the time in Ireland? Isn't it like 4 a.m. or something? I don't know. I have no idea. But we're glad you can be here. Okay, let me just pull the project up and we can get started. By the way, I finally got professional StreamYards. So I'm very excited about that. If you can see on the top of my screen over there, I have my little HELLION logo.
Yeah, like in between the little recesses of the camera, you guys can see that there's a background hitting in there. So
Yeah, there's a really cool background of Ragna, but you guys won't actually see it unless I remove everybody on the stream. And I might do that in a fit of rage, but that is I am not at that point yet.
What makes you angry? Maybe we can get you to that point.
A lot of things.
that would be
I don't
hard
know,
to
it's-
find out.
Yeah, no, it's not. Just ask these two. You want to trigger me? Just tell them to start talking. They know
The
all
problem
my
is that
buttons.
Irene's gonna boot herself too, and we're gonna make it happen. So.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm a little too. Yeah, maybe I'm too full. I'm too full of myself. To do that. I wouldn't boot myself. It's my stream. Why would I do that? Let's see. All right, let me pull this up. I wish I had more art on the sign up. because I really do love the art. Okay.
Yeah, we've been looking at this sign up for months and how nice it
Yeah,
looks.
but you know how Indiegogo is. They don't allow you to put so much stuff on it.
Yeah, yeah. There's honestly on the signups you can pretty much only put like 4 images. But anyhow, here it is, and the sign up is linked in the description, by the way, for anybody who's wondering. So why don't you take us away and tell us what this is all about?
Okay. Black Rhapsody is a 35-page plus manga s horror cult thriller comic about music-based magical girls in an uphill battle against a Lovecraftian pop star and her evil music empire. Said Lovecraftian pop star is based on none other than the queen bee herself, Beyonce Knowles. So it's basically musical magical girls versus Lovecraftian Beyonce Knowles.
Oh
Huh.
my goodness.
Cool. Yeah, I've seen. You don't have the design for the villain here, but you sent me some images, and I will pull them up in a second. Evil Beyonce. I love
Yep.
it. I love it. So who is the artist?
The artist is Jan Apple.
Okay, I don't know who that is, but they're very good.
Mhm.
I wish your artist was on here so I can pick their brain and ask them what they
She's
use.
kind
and
of
everything.
busy.
Right. I know that feeling. I know that feeling. So I guess it's a little hard to talk about without like pulling up art and stuff. Where first of all, I'm wondering, how did you come up with the idea for this? Have you just always been a fan of these genres and you decided to mash them all together, or are you like where did the idea come from?
It came from, well, yes, partly because I was a fan of all these genres, but probably because I am a fan of Madoka Magica and magical girls in general, and I want to do my own take on it.
Right, makes sense.
Mhm.
All right.
Yeah, especially Black Magica, it makes me think about how I think AC and I saw the first series, and I quite liked how that one, you know, set up the made the setup for the girls, made their little adventure and things, and then gives you that little glimpse of the fact that there's like a bigger world out there with a bunch of little girls that are also doing their own thing and getting their lives ruined by another one of these eldritch plushes. So
Yeah.
it kind of puts it in your head, right? That it's just like, what would those be in different parts of the world that are not in ambiguous Japan? That's it sounds really fun, and like I can totally see a bunch of like fan communities and stuff like that, just making their own little magical girls or imagining how the setup works in their particular part of the world.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I guess it's always exciting to see sort of manga influenced works that aren't, strictly set in Japan, or just like I like seeing stuff that's a mixture of, how do you say it, East and West, like manga mixed with Western comic, because I'm a fan of both. So I feel like it's really hard to find artists who strike a good balance between the styles, but I think this artist really captures that. And let me pull up. So, well, I had you sent me a bunch of images, and this is Evil Beyonce, right?
Yeah, this is Dulcie Bella. Dulcibella.
Okay, Dulcie Bella.
Yeah, she's the villain of the comic. She's basically the Beyonce insert and the Lovecraftian pop star queen in the book.
Is she always blue?
Yeah, she's the there's a reason for that. She's the Lovecraftian god of darkness and the night. So she's basically night incarnate.
Ah, I see. Okay.
Ooh,
Right, 'cause,
I want to see
you-
how her powers manifest or something. I want to see what that means.
Yeah, her skin darkens to obsidian when she's like really pissed off.
All right.
It just sucks in everything around her like a black hole and devours it.
Missrena, have you, like looking at the design, and talking about magical girl stuff and this, having putting these darker themes and stuff. Have you guys watched the I think the newest No More Heroes. Because
No, I haven't been interested. The series just never really interests me, though I am familiar with Suda 51's work.
I always like how they keep referencing the characters being fans of like magical girl stuff, and this antagonist made me think a lot about the design for the newest big antagonist they had. So it's like this space guy that has a bunch of like wibbly wobbly abilities. So just you can cut him up and stuff and turn into black holes and all that.
Yeah, I know that the main character in No More Heroes is an otaku who likes moe. Moe.
I don't know that. Sometimes I feel like Nick knows more anime and manga stuff nowadays than me. Cause
I don't know about that.
No, you do, because I sit at home and I just draw. I don't like watch or read anything anymore.
I haven't really been watching many series lately, but I guess I do listen to a lot of reviews of stuff. So like, even though I don't get to play video games, like immediately when seeing the Evil Beyonce here, it was just making me think of No More Heroes and how much I really like the enemy designs. And you know what? I love enemies that actually just take that tokusatsu step of just making characters that have different color schemes, because you can even like make patterns on top of that. It's a very simple way of creating eye-catchy designs. That and also just making gaudy clothing. Gaudy clothing is pretty fun in tokusatsu stuff.
This is the main character, Alethea Mahalia. She
really dark colors. Okay.
Yeah, she's as you can see, a goth teenager. She's based on when you see her magical girl design in the one of the pictures Ree's about to bring up, she's based on ethereal wave as well as the Greek goddess of necromancy, magic, the night, and the crossroads Hecate. So her magical girl,
right?
yes, that's.
Oh right, yeah, that was on the thumbnail. I wasn't sure if that would be like the antagonist on the other side or her transformation.
That is her transformation.
I recall you said that all of the main character and I suppose the villains, a lot of the characters, they're icons for these goddesses, right?
Yeah, they're named after each of these goddesses. So you got Hecate, Hera, another magical girl called Amaterasu, it's a Populato. Yeah, basically goddesses of folklore from different pantheons are going to be referenced in this story.
I like that.
Okay.
I like that.
Is that some kind of an angle that the story is going on? Can I hear that like gods are referencing folklore from real life, and I keep thinking like Saint Seiya, because Latin America loves that stuff.
Yeah, but mainly it's going to focus on the divine feminine female gods. Well, there will be references to other male deities, but they won't be prominent.
Okay.
All right.
So,
Well,
like,
I like the idea that you're merging like different mythologies, just mashing it all together. That's cool. It takes a lot of research. I've tried to do it, and I know it's hard.
Yeah, I know. I fell into a lot of rabbit holes that I never thought I would expect to.
That happens. Yes. I wanted to. Let's see. Oh, I lost the comment. Never mind. Somebody mentioned something. Move on. Oh, we have a.
Oh my gosh! I have.
Make Eldritch Horrors hot again.
You're right. I saw a super chat and I was like, "Where did it go?" Then immediately last arrogant Abe said, "Make Eldritch Horrors hot again." Again, they have always been hot.
Yeah,
what are you talking
that
about?
has been going on for a while. Like almost every property is trying to grab onto something eldritch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Eldritch horror has always been sexy. All right.
Okay.
I will not be challenged.
Maybe you should just open up more tabs on your Explorer.
Maybe he saw something that burned him really bad. I don't know. So,
anyways, I cut you off. Sorry.
I want to ask. So we're on this topic of like how like where this idea comes from. Like what inspired you to take this angle? Like you're gonna make this story about like magical girls and like a rock group and stuff like this. Like, where did the inspiration come from to take this specific angle of like taking magical girls, but taking like these like goddess themes and like personifying them and stuff like that?
It came from the whole goddess angle came from a comic book called The Wicked and the Divine. Have you ever heard of that?
Oh yeah.
I
Seen
was
it.
kind of a huge fan of the comic at first, but until it got really bad towards the end,
Oh,
and
I remember
I
just
didn't like how they
reading
portray
it.
certain deities. I like how they designed them,
Yeah.
but
Yeah,
not
the
how
design
they.
was really fashiony and pretty, which is why I picked it up. And then
And
you
it
know,
was eye popping. Those, and you know
yeah,
what? Even now, it's like I love those covers. I think
Yeah,
I
I
actually
love the
get those
covers
covers
of
more
Wicked
than
and Divine.
the
It
covers
just
were great, and I was like, ooh, fashion. But I'm gonna be honest. I was kind of bored. I tried to read it. It's like the clothes are cool, but it wasn't really my thing. But
I
it's.
was
I also heard
but I
it's
did
like.
drop off.
I heard it dropped off. It was really popular for a while though, and I heard it's like
Oh
basically,
yeah, it was
rip off
everywhere.
American Gods.
Yeah,
Whatever.
it kind of is. Basically, if all the characters were like unlikable millennials that just like
Oh God.
were performing and just having sex and just doing drugs and all the other celebrity things, the characters weren't really likable. Admittedly, there was
Oh
like very few
boy.
likable characters.
Well, yeah, you can have unlikable characters, but not all of them.
Yeah,
What's the problem?
Oh no!
That's,
Yeah,
that's
I
sad
remember
because the art was
being
good.
recommended the book, and I remember it looked really pretty, it looked enticing, but something about it, I just never ended up picking it up.
yeah, the writing kind of felt a bit pretentious at times.
Oh
All right,
boy. Well, that's a pity because
but you
that
found
was
something
good.
inspiring in it, regardless.
And you will improve upon that inspiration, and you'll do something
Is there
better.
something in particular out of it? When you say you dropped off from the series and stuff, but I think that sometimes when we grab those projects, either because we do see an opening to like flesh out an opportunity for a story in there, or you saw something lacking that you kind of wanted to inject into it. Was there something like that in there?
Yeah, it was mainly originally the character designs because I wanted to create really stylish designs at first.
Mm-hmm.
But after I started reading the comic, I started reading the second to the final issue. I became increasingly unhappy with the characters and the writing because
Mm-hmm.
it went from being this really interesting murder intrigue to just basically characters just doing whatever they want without any type of social or moral consequence, or just
Okay.
not learning from their mistakes. And I hated that, especially the main character who was my favorite. The main character's name was Laura, but she took on the identity of one of my favorite goddesses of all time,
I have one.
Persephone.
All
So you
right.
made Persephone an unlikable asshole.
To be fair, though, it is a commonly used god that a lot of points in fiction use. So we're bound to find unlikable versions of those or likable ones.
Wait, I'm gonna
for how
I'm gonna
much
make
it's used.
I'm gonna make myself sound kind of ignorant here, but wait, wasn't Persephone not a goddess?
She is a goddess. She's the
She
goddess
is.
of springtime and the queen of the underworld.
Oh,
She's Hades' wife.
She's the one that used eats the pomegranate.
Yeah,
okay.
she's oftentimes symbolized with the pomegranate.
I
Shame! Shame!
To be fair, like the main story that she comes up like in that one, where she's brought by
pomegranate, yeah.
Hades over there, like doesn't really deal with her powers, but it's actually her mother that explains the whole issue with like winter and stuff. So like
Yeah.
that's a common.
Yeah, Demeter causes winter because her daughter is missing and the gods are just fumbling about.
Why is that your favorite goddess?
Yeah.
I like her mainly for her friendship with Hecate, because Hecate could be considered the main character of the whole rape of Persephone story that has been told 1,000 times, because she was the one that witnessed Persephone being taken to the underworld by Hades as the one to return Persephone to her mother Demeter.
Okay.
Okay, so you liked that sort of that relationship and the character dynamics between that.
Yeah, it's just that
yeah.
I'm not as interested in the whole Persephone and Hades relationship
Right.
as other people are.
Oh,
Okay. I actually,
Alright.
you know what? Now it's actually my time to ask. Which one is Hecate? Because I know the name, but I actually don't remember what kind of.
All I
Hecate
know
is-
is that she's like some witch figure. That's all.
Hecate is the Greek goddess of witches, so yeah, she is a witch figure, but she's been like kind of demonized because she's the queen of witches and the
yeah,
night.
because of paganism and all that. Yeah. All right.
She's not really an evil god as many people like to believe her and write her. She is capable of evil, but not as much unless you provoke her.
I like the extra kick to that, unless you provoke her.
Yeah,
she's very nice unless you just happen to piss her out, then she'll murder you and your whole family.
All right, fun.
I mean, she is a Greek god. They are kind of, quick to anger.
That is true. We saw God of War. Yeah, they're all evil. That's the true story.
That's all evil. Oh my god, the mythology nerd is getting triggered.
I wish I was a mythology nerd. Oh my gosh, you must know a bunch of fun stuff, especially
Well,
if you're.
I'm not like
Random
that
characters.
much of a nerd about the Greek gods, but I only know a little bit of stuff. I am sure you're way more of an expert than me, Missrena. I was wondering, do you like how much of like these relationships from, say, the relationships that you said you were inspired by before, your favorite part of the Persephone story, that are you reflecting that in your comic, or are you kind of just like original character stories?
A combination of both.
Okay.
Just references to certain parts in lore, but it's going to be mainly original.
Okay. Cool.
Look at these expressions. Ooh!
Yeah,
Oh.
I like the style a lot. I wish the artist was here. I want to ask them like what they use. This looks like I think this is Manga Studio. Yeah,
I've
that's a
been-
Manga Studio layout.
Okay,
Yeah, this is a work in progress Jan has sent me.
Cool.
I've been looking her up, and I found her art station. Did she do what is her history? Did she do webcomics back in the day? I feel like I've seen her art before. Like, way
She's done
back in the
published
day.
work. She's done both webcomics and published work.
Yvonne is further triggering our guest.
Maybe those are all good. Know how to behave. Love it. I don't know. You know what? I think that's actually like something fun about Greek gods that since they are so much more flawed, like they're not trying to be an example necessarily of what to follow. It's allowed them to actually have, I don't know, like not have like this like plot. This is not the term, but like a plot armor around them that doesn't allow them to actually like emote and have a personality. Not to mention like have permutations in fiction to just like come up with the version that how you interpret them. So that's actually I think made them very palatable for a lot of people to use them into their work, be it to either inject them as some kind of a force in the background that can be a friend or antagonist, or even make them main characters because they're just a lot more bendable.
Yeah, the Roman gods are kind of the opposite of that.
Oh, and I also wanted to say, like, I was looking for the name while AC was talking about this page, but without the colors right now, the Beyonce villain is, and especially with that panel where it's just like the black and white, she's making me give me a lot of Queen Beryl.
Oh God, yes, you noticed that. Yes, Queen Beryl was an influence on her as well.
Oh, I'm glad to hear that. That was so cool because like in I think when people go back to like magical girls, Irene looks lost. I'm talking about Sailor Moon villains.
I'm leaving my own stream.
What do you think the conversation was gonna go with a comic about magical girls, Irene?
I'm so glad you're here because I don't know shit about magical girls.
Oh God, Irene!
I'm here for the Cthulhu shit. That's it.
We need to educate you on the magical girls.
I hate it. I would like every time it come on TV, I'd be like, turn off. I hated it.
No.
Because I think for a lot of people, I know it has a negative connotation of the fact that the crowd of bronies, like gravitated towards something like the new My Little Pony stuff, made it so that some shows where it could be acknowledged that they were not being targeted towards boys or girls, and I really liked that back in the '90s when Sailor Moon was coming out. There was like it's an action show, it has like adventure stuff, but like I was fascinated by like the emphasis on the fashion of the characters. They were, because like you see like old anime shows, like all the guys and are like always just like wearing the same boring outfit for fear of not having their Superman colors stapled on them 24/7.
I would never thought I'd hear you say that fashion is you appreciate the fashion design in a show, but I do appreciate good fashion design.
It looked like the girls were actually dressed for the season, for the event, for their personality. It was not irrational, like they were just wearing just stuff to just look cool randomly, except the villains sometimes. Like those ones, like the girl that was just dressed like a mouse or something.
Yeah.
But, you mean Sailor Iron Mouse? Yeah.
Man, I just Sailor Moon had a really wide appeal, and I think like it had a key demographic. The key demographic was girls, but it was made to have a key demographic but also appeal to people outside of it, and there were like it was very like tons of male fans as well, and let's like My Little Pony, and you can do that, and it takes a lot of chops. You have to know what you're doing, but it's possible. I just didn't like the style. Like it wasn't. I just really. When I was younger, I would just avoid shoujo like the plague, and I was like, I like stuff like gargoyles and like dark fantasy stuff and Kenshin and
Yeah,
I could never get into gargoyles. Like I didn't like the dark fantasy stuff growing up.
Oh, so good!
That's one of the cool things about Madoka Magica. Is like I love that it was like when we start out with like Sailor Moon and stuff, it's just like, oh, it's a feminine perspective and feminine priorities can be taken into account to do a fun and action show. And then with Madoka Magica, it's like, oh yeah, also it can be depressing. It's like, oh, I love this stuff. This is great. So I was kind of hoping that you guys would have also enjoy that stuff. But before I get to the road, because I did when I started talking, like, oh, Queen Beryl, like.
How dare you?
Because like people talk about Sailor Moon and stuff, and the stuff that always comes up is obviously like the fashion and the impact that like the female-led show made. But I think hardly anybody ever talks about the villains, because like for a lot of it, I didn't find them very memorable. But I always remembered Queen Beryl, because I liked that feeling. It helped kind of because like Irene was talking about how she didn't like the style, and it was like just extremely girly and soft so much of the time. But I liked whenever the scene changed, and it almost felt like we were dealing with a different art style. Even the hair of Queen Beryl was interesting. I loved how it flowed. She had like the weird claw hand coming out of the ground, just grabbing the orb, and she almost did nothing. She just kind of like talked to like her subordinates, but I always just like, man, when this bitch gets off of that throne and starts slapping around some sailor's couch, that's gonna kick ass. It's like I kept wanting for that blend of styles of this more serious, more dire situations and like all these dark shadows that they used on her to breach the gap and get to where all these like very like poppy colors and rounded girls were hanging out and talking about their boyfriends and stuff, and like I don't know, like they killed Darian. And now you must, I don't know, actually have revenge and deal like what you were talking about before, like deal with the consequences of that. Like, how do we deal in like, season 2 now, where like half of the people are dead?
I'm completely lost as to what you're talking about now, but you two have at it.
Did you never watch Did you never watch or read Sailor Moon at all?
No.
Really?
No.
Oh gosh, Freddie.
I even read a little bit. Like,
no.
Yeah, but I was wondering because like it's like this again, like this panel, like the half shadow. It's very much like the kind of shots that you get with her. It's just that it felt like this more like comic noir or just how we're talking about like this Cthulhu influence. It was a cool blend of like almost moves for the show, and I think that although I don't feel like the promise was ever fulfilled, it was a very interesting promise that I think came to fruition once stuff like Marathon Magica was brought onto the table.
Okay, so talking about like darkness and stuff, like so, Missrena, you said that you really weren't into like dark stuff when you were younger, because like I wasn't either. I don't know.
But
if
then
it
you
was-
like Marathon Magica and Berserk.
Well, kind of. Like I liked Berserk, but only to a certain extent, and it was kind of like just the old anime and stuff. It didn't really get too dark, but it like Berserk got a lot darker after that. But in any case, like I didn't like horror, is what I should say. Like I really didn't like horror, but it was like one of the first jobs I got as a comic artist was on a horror book, and then suddenly I kind of just turned over a new leaf. I'm like, oh yeah, I love this stuff.
Oh, yeah, they're giving me money. Ooh, I like this now. Money.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same way. I didn't really like any of this stuff as a kid, but as an adult, I just can't get enough. I don't like playing horror games, but I love reading horror stuff and watching
Yeah.
horror videos.
Oh, I just love anything horror. Horror, just I've always liked it. I don't know what's wrong with me. I was like anything that's cute. I know this is like illogical because I know I can draw cute things pretty well, but like I like drawing cute things in horror settings. Okay, people don't get it. I don't just like drawing cute little things that are all flowers and rainbows and everything is fine. No, I want things dying and things bleeding all the time.
Reddy saying she wants like a cute little puppy being massacred by a serial killer with a chainsaw.
Well, no, not a puppy, but like, you know, a little evil
That's too
Chucky or something. But
No,
but
like
yeah.
an ugly puppy. One of the ugly ones.
Not
Those
the
can get killed.
yeah, well, the cute puppies can live. Carrie, hello, welcome to the channel. And this is not my artwork. This is artwork on the project
thank
we're
you.
featuring today, which is called Black Rhapsody. So thank you for joining. And if you want to check out the project, the link is in the description. Yeah.
What were we talking about? Oh yeah, like you like cute things and dark stuff, but that's the thing. Is like I talk about this all the time. You need variety in your work. So if you have like cute stuff and you contrast it with like horror, then you actually feel both ends of the spectrum. So that's the best. That's how you do it. That's how you actually like create a mood and control people's emotions. You have like the horror and it happens to like cute characters or whatever, you know?
I just think there's so much room for psychological exploration with horror. Like it's it can, and I think horror is, you can blend it with a lot of different genres as well. You know, it doesn't always have to be like
Yeah, it's probably the most
super
flexible
bloody.
genre.
It is very flexible, and you can get really creative with it. You can blend it with fantasy, you can blend it with sci-fi, you know, Dead Space and everything, and you can have like stuff even for a younger audience. Even though, you know, I know nowadays, especially American media is like, oh no, we can't do anything that's stressful for kids, but you can do that.
Secretly
And
screams, encourage the cowardly dog.
like, I freaking loved, what is it called in America? Case Closed. And I always like murder mysteries as well. And like, Case Closed is a murder mystery manga for kids. You would never have that in America. But it was awesome. It was just like,
Even in
ooh,
Latin
how these
America,
people die.
when that was actually showing up on a channel that was actually called Magic Kids, and it pretty much looked like the More You Know logo with like a little rainbow and a star. And that was the first place where I saw Detective Conan, and it was with the scenes of people just getting stabbed. And so I was like, it really grew. Like as a young kid, like, I can check out murder, and also this kid has like glasses and is running around with a soccer ball, and
It was so absurd!
Like, why is this guy with a huge head and a little bow tie looking at corpses that were mangled on a roller coaster?
Well, let's get something clear, because I know a little bit about Detective Conan, and when it was taken to the U.S., it was dubbed in English, and they changed the name to Case Closed, and they changed a bunch of stuff. I think it was like one of those.
It's very annoying.
They might have censored everything. I don't remember. I remember it was.
I
bad,
don't know.
though.
I just know they called it Case Closed here, and I always have to like turn my brain around and remember what it's fucking called in America, because it's
you know
just
what?
Detective
It's
Conan in Japanese.
It's actually not a bad idea for a North American audience to actually have that, because in North America, Conan the Barbarian is actually very well known. So even if you're not necessarily trying to allure the same audience, just by the fact that you have that name. No other property in the US probably had that name. So it was gonna catch people's eyes. And it's like, wait, Conan? Little bow tie Conan? Did he go to the future and have his eyes messed up?
Yeah, people know.
I can see that.
People know Conan the Barbarian far more than Arthur Conan Doyle.
It never, that meant, honestly, you know, the Barbarian Conan name always confused me because it was like 10,000 years ago in prehistory, and Conan is not exactly a name that would have existed back then. But anyhow, I digress.
I
think it's just Irene thinking about that.
I knew ancient civilizations always.
What? Did you know I'm obsessed with ancient civilizations?
Irene being like, this is anachronistic.
Yes! The language isn't exactly the way it was in 12,000 BCE Anatolia. I am unhappy.
Yeah, and also it's just like, it's a bit more iconic, because like Case Closed, like it's a kind of title that we would get here in Latin America, or things that I actually really dislike, because everything sounds, you get like very well-known properties or movies, and then the names here are impossible to find because they're just generic, like Action Day or the Last Bullets. Like, what does that have to do with the Man Without Name or something? They're really weird. So like Case Closed sounds very just generic of a name. Like it's not a bad name, but like I feel like Detective Conan punches it to like something that there's no other Conan that you're probably gonna think of, especially if you're picking up a manga book with a little boy with glasses.
Yeah, that's what struck me about it.
Wish they had at least just kept detective in the title, you know? Should've been like, Detective something else. Chimera has a good question. So this is part 1. How many parts do you have planned for this arc, and I guess I would say the whole comic?
Oh, okay.
It's gonna be a long arc like you would see in most manga. Because I plan to make this a long-running series.
Okay.
Alright.
What is your, like, are you aiming for basically for it to feel like manga, like shorter shorter chapters but really long arcs and a long form piece overall?
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool. But is your book is American comic size or manga size?
Manga size.
Oh, okay, so it's straight up manga.
Yeah.
All right, interesting. What is it gonna be in color?
The color will be a stretch goal.
Ah, okay. All right.
So it will be printed in black and white.
That was my question.
Okay.
Cool.
Yeah.
Because this stuff works in black and white so far.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have to fangirl out for a little bit. So I looked up Jan Apple. I'm like, her art looks familiar. I've seen this character looks familiar on her ArtStation.
Oh, yeah.
I confirmed it. I went down my little rabbit hole over here. Back in the day when I was an edgy teenager, I read her webcomic. Yeah,
Cool.
You were so edgy.
I loved her art, and I watched her on DeviantArt back in the day. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited to see her doing some good work now, and she's come so far. Oh my
Yes,
gosh.
I love Jen's art.
I must have seen her art around, but I don't think I actively followed her.
Her Twitter is JanApple513.
Okay, yeah, everybody go follow her on Twitter.
I'm just so happy to see her getting some good work in now.
Wait,
Just see her back again.
What webcomic are we talking about?
Oh gosh, it's old. I don't know.
Is it one of the ones that you showed me from the ones that you used to follow when you were younger?
It was like it wasn't even finished. It was just like a few pages long. I was so psyched about it. It was called Verardi Famiglia.
Oh yeah, you never told me about
No, it's just like a handful of pages long. It's pretty edgy. It's like you can tell that she's grown up a lot as an artist, but it's like I remember that character and all that stuff. I was so psyched when she started putting out these pages.
No, it's always cool to see. I mean, I know the feeling like the DeviantArt artist you knew back in 2007 is actually a working professional now, and they've improved so much.
Yeah,
all the good
feels
old
like
days.
a small world.
It kind of is, though. The art community, the art scene is small, especially people that
I think it's
are
just
still doing. Yeah.
then you just think it's much bigger because you also don't go into some of those, group or some of the current web artists are working on. So you're just in your little community. But then, yeah, you start seeing people just pop up more and more.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's still, there's a lot of really good artists out there, but at the end of the day, the art scene is globally, it's not that big. And you see the same people over and over again across multiple years. Yvonne says censors in the US or something else, they take out the juicy bits and almost everything. Yes, they do, and it's really annoying.
Yeah,
They're
it
still
is.
doing it. It's just always just different excuses, but there's always somebody trying to censor shit here, which is great. It's great.
They try to censor the booba. Don't censor the booba. Free the booba.
Oh yeah. I have lots of opinions about that, but in case my
Of course I did.
but we won't get too much into that. Obviously, we're here to talk about this comic. But anyways, since people wanna, people who are triggered by anime boobs are stupid. Let's see. It's Rini.
So-
John says I sound bitter that they're working professionals. Why do I sound bitter? Why would I be bitter? I am also.
That's Irene's resting bitter voice.
Yeah, I have resting bitch voice.
Yes.
Why would I be bitter? I've been doing this for like 10 years. That's good. For free boba. Yes, John, thank you. We support the free bobas here. Yeah, if I have retching bitch voice, that's just because I was taking a nap before this, so I'm sorry. I haven't been getting a lot of sleep. I've been trying to get pages for chapter 2 done. Anyhow, were you saying something, AC?
Oh,
Okay.
I was gonna say, when did you, Missrena, when did you get into like really dark stuff?
Oh yeah.
Oh God, I got to like around 4 years ago. No, 5 years ago when I was in college. I started kind of like watching Lovecraftian videos as well as like some Junji Ito stuff. You know who Junji
There
Ito
we go.
is,
When
right?
you start setting horror manga, I was really hoping that would be it.
Yeah, I got into some of his work. I prefer. I was watching a person narrate his stories, and the way they did it immersed me into his work. It's just that I didn't like.
the same channel.
Yeah, Horror
channel's
Show
great.
Mickey. Have you ever heard of Horror Show Mickey?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got into the dark stuff, the dark horror stuff through him and his Lovecraft,
Really?
not Lovecraft, Junji Ito videos. Because the way he narrated them was just so immerseful.
What do you narrate?
I think AC was also getting into checking out some of Lovecraft's stuff. So when she was showing me that, I actually found the Horror Show Mickey and like narrating the Junji Ito stuff. It's just something fun to listen to while I was working on the side, and just sometimes just turning around and looking at his sick art was pretty cool.
Yeah, oh my God. I love the, what was it, Uzumaki? Hellstar Remina was another good one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I just...
What was the name of the one where like the people in town just feel compelled to go into those human shaped holes?
Shit, I know what you're talking about.
What?
The Fall of Amagari Falls.
I think so.
All right.
I really like that one. I like the visual because I think sometimes when Junji Ito is making some of his horror stories, when the supernatural reveal comes a little bit too early for me, I feel like it kind of breaks that suspension of disbelief and it now becomes this magical thing. And so it's like, I feel like it no longer has that same tension because then I'm just like, okay, well, yeah, I mean, this is a cool visual, but anything is possible. Like, he can turn into a snail now, I guess.
Yeah.
So, like, I really like that story because for the longest time, you're just dealing with people just sounding insane. And, like, at the first
Oh
just, like,
gosh, you got Gao. I never read Gao.
Yo?
Yo, like, sorry. That's how I pronounced it.
I think it would be Gyo, but
Gyo.
It's Gyo. Yeah, I also have this
the
Lovecraft
fiction.
collection. I actually don't like the Lovecraft mythos is so huge. It's just like there's still stuff that I like Lovecraft, but I'm not like some people are just absolute scholars about it. But this is the book that really got me into it. It's like a collection of short stories. So this is a really good one. Also, here's a random horror book by some friends in Hong Kong, which is pretty cool. Anyhow, yeah. Just want to
Okay.
show that off.
Well, you have to show us the interiors at some point.
Yes, I do. I've been trying to get them on as well, but that's a different story. Anyways, let's go back to
No, but yeah, that was a really cool story. I like that we kind of just deal with humans for the longest time, and the whole story is just the fact that more and more people just keep feeling this pull to go to this weird rock formation, and there's just these holes shaped like people, and they're like, oh, it was meant for me. This hole was made for me. Like they fit perfectly, and then their bodies just keep like slowly shifting inside. It's just really cool.
Yeah, the ending is what hooked me onto his work. I'm like, holy crap.
I never read that one. I've seen there's so many memes, because just this person, there's a hole in the rocks, it's exactly like you said, and this guy's just running towards it, and everybody's trying to stop him. He's like, that's made for me! I must go in the hole! It's so weird. God, he had so many weird ideas, man.
Yeah, I think the what really works about that story is like that is really a Lovecraftian story in a sense, because it's not about this monster reveal. It's like, because as you said, it's after you reveal the monster, a large part of the horror is taken away, because like a lot of horror is about the suspense and the tension and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Especially with a story like that, there is this mystery about it. It's like there's this supernatural element that you can't describe, you can't condemn, you can't look at it. You know,
cosmic horror.
Yes, exactly.
It's about not like what you don't see, and it's more about the mood. And it's I've seen a lot of analyses of like why Lovecraft kind of revolutionized horror in a way where the way he wrote was not just about, well, this is a scary thing and there's a monster or something. There's something like there's a monster in the ocean and there's sailors. It was more about the mood and the threat of the unknown. And like this, when you read his stories, it's always about this unknowable thing and this unfathomable horror. And like that is more scary than something that you actually, than actually presenting it, describing it.
I don't know if it's connected, but like I guess like the feel that I get is that, you know what, I kind of want to delve into this, considering we're talking about manga and horror. But a lot of what I feel with horror stories is that sometimes when a deliberate attempt from the author is to just scare the audience, and that is the objective, it can sometimes feel very superficial. Just like, how people talk about jump scares and all that stuff. It's just like, it's like not really a properly earned scare, because you startle people and then you just kind of like put them on edge, but it's kind of like an easy way out of it. And so I think with Lovecraft, what it makes me think about is just like, it's not trying to make someone feel scared, but just talk about all these things that you are already afraid of. And so like the fact that Lovecraft was just this weird, this weird that was just afraid of the world outside and just like saw, like, tremendously racist and just like sees everything and just like fears the world outside of him, and is already depressed because he's not making money. Like it instills you with the same fear that he's feeling. And it's like those feelings are what's scary. It's not the monsters, it's not the setting, it's not that there's an octopus or a fish. It's just the depression and
the bottomless despair.
Yeah, there you go. The void and all that stuff. Like that's pretty interesting. And speaking of that, connecting it over to manga, I think that a lot of the time, and I think why Junji Ito comes into the conversation so often is because it's really hard to find manga that is horror themed, especially one that is effective. Because a lot of the time, and I think that North American comics also fall into this unfortunate hole, is that people confuse gore or dark themes for horror. Well, it's not necessarily horror. It's not so many, like when you go to a series or a manga, you pick it up, it says horror. It's not scary. At no point does it scare anybody, no matter how old or young you are.
Yeah.
It's just people dressed in black, and there's a guy with big teeth running around screaming. But it's not the same. There's like a lot of blood. It's like, it's just blood,
And we're so desensitized to gore. Like that's not scary. Like no matter what level of gore. I don't know. I guess you can stylize it more, but even like Quentin Tarantino, that's not horror. We're just so
yeah,
used to
and
it.
it's not intended to be is the thing.
Yeah.
So it's like when people use it like a cudgel like that, it's like it's an attempt of trying horror. But I think it's like they themselves like get lost in the I don't know the aesthetics of horror and forget what it actually is down below. Kind of like I don't know, thinking about like the series Alien, like they categorize those horrible sequels as horror, like Aliens versus Predator, but it's just
action.
it's a bunch of action and gore, but they forget about the tension that is behind, like hiding the monster, and instead of that, they're actually constantly showing it. They want to show off the expensive suits, they want to show off all the CG.
That said, while I agree with you, that said, I feel like there's not anything necessarily wrong with that approach. That's actually you can have something like very fun.
But it's not horror.
Yeah,
is my thing. Like the thing is just like I love that stuff. Like when we were working in Shadow Rose, like that's a lot of fun. Like even when I was like, honey, we could probably work on like showing like actual anatomy and not making everything a blood pinata. It's like this is good exploitative fun. And I love that stuff. It was always meant to be like a B movie thing, people shooting stuff and magic and stuff like that. But people do like I think that there's actually miscommunication with a lot of audiences that they see these things. They see like the dark, there's a skull there, and it's like, oh, that's horror. You know, but it's clearly not.
Yeah.
How do you girls feel about these things? Like, are there things that separate like horror and like an aesthetic for you guys, or like different series that maybe stand for these things?
My dumbass was muted for a second, but real quick, just before we move on, that Shane O'Sullivan for what is that, 20 euros? I don't. Okay, I haven't gotten Euro super chats before. Thank you. The super chat is a payback that post and package debacle from months ago, where some of it caused my ad post. And the background art is super cool, really cool. Thank you. And I have been tracking your package, Shane. It's still sitting in. It tells me it's sitting in Dublin, and it's just been sitting there for 2 months now. I'm sorry. I tried to mail it back. I don't know what's going on with customs, but. Thank you. You didn't have to do that, but I appreciate it. I really hope the book gets to you.
My condolences.
Man.
Like, coming from Colombia, customs. It's
terrible. It's like I usually it's been fine. I've shipped stuff to the UK. I've shipped things to UK, Australia before USPS decided to shit its pants, and now nothing is going to Australia. Just absolutely nothing is going through because it costs $70 to ship like one book. And I haven't had problems besides from, the Australia debacle, and then apparently Irish Post is like really, really picky. It happens. Man, international shipping is, yeah. It's a lesson learned.
They liked your book and they stole it for themselves.
Oh no! Oh. Well, they could buy their own instead of taking it from my customers.
When it finally gets to shade, it's just like a pamphlet that has been stapled of photocopies of the book.
Oh, yeah, it's really painful. This is what's making me consider doing digital, even though I didn't want to do digital, but because international shipping is so expensive and so many countries post is unreliable, I might do a digital sort of like after the campaign, like fulfill the physical books first, and then do like PDF copies for the European backers and stuff.
Like I also prefer like physical copies. Like I love the feel of it. Someone out there, I'm
kind
sure
of the same boat.
I love the smell of it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I love physical books.
I'd love to get it at some point.
Yeah.
You're stuck so bad. And the fact that I'm pleased that I've moved to that having the digital copy is a great idea for a lot of people, believe me.
Oh yeah, I think I will do that. But
sorry,
I was gonna say that I was thinking about doing it digital only for international backers, given how crazy the international shipping prices are. It just felt unfair to like charge them that much for a book.
That would be appreciated.
Yeah, I mean, there's certainly some people that are willing to pay it, but I feel like at least having the digital option is very helpful because even sometimes when we want, we have the money to pay for it, it's like it might not get to me, or it's gonna get really banged up. So
well, the only way that I managed to get a package between, well, this was from Colombia to me, but it was through FedEx, and it's like you pay more money, but this is, it's reliable, because if you use like the government post, apparently it's super unreliable.
And I mean, it's apparently been getting better. Apparently,
Okay.
During COVID, a lot of things that have been lingering on the Stone Age for the longest time have been forced to speed up, because otherwise people won't get their money. Before it's is that whole idea is like when there's no competition, companies can remain stagnant and just have a very crappy monopoly. But if you start threatening their bottom line, people are so eager to innovate, become green, push it out to new countries, new boundaries.
That's the one
boundaries.
good thing about COVID was that it
Yeah.
pushed us technologically a bit.
Yeah, that's
I,
nice.
I was just actually telling like a few weeks back to AC. It's just like, hey, you move it. You talk about a lot of inconveniences that it's about living here, and I was like, honey, it is so much better around the time that you came. You take a lot of these things for granted. Like, yeah, honey, it's like, I mean, put the money there. It's not gonna work, or if it is, it'll be great if it does.
Some of the things that you guys tell me about.
Here. These people are gonna look at you weird. You're never gonna get this. It's like things are working. The internet websites work right now.
Oh my god, yeah, I'm just, the things you guys tell me. At least in the States, things have always been pretty convenient. It's like, I've always been able to pay my rent online, like, things work pretty well, but, still, I guess I'm spoiled, because at the start, I've been like, I'm always like, I've always wanted to work from home, like, because I always do animation, I work in art, and I was like, why can't I just, like, use a VPN or bring a computer and work from home? Why do I have to go into the office every day? And they're like, no, we won't let you work remotely. And I've asked that for multiple jobs, and they're like, it's impossible, we just can't do it. Then COVID hits, and then they're like, oh yeah, you can work from home. So it's like, you can do it all along, you just didn't want to, because you wanted to, like, keep an eye on us. It's like, what does it matter, as long as I'm finishing my work, so.
Because I don't trust you.
But I'm
No, we
finishing
have
my
to
work.
watch you, Rennie. We don't trust you, Rennie.
If they get to put the thumb down on it, it's easier. Like, I mean, also if it was work, if you could ensure your bottom line better. Yeah.
I guess, I don't know, it just seems really unreasonable.
But yeah, I can totally imagine you screeching if you came over and stayed for more than just like a visit or something, and realizing how daily life stuff. It's just like there's some things that they're little, but those inconveniences do add up. Like,
Yeah.
we're kind of used to it, like Latinos. Like Ivan and I sometimes laugh about some of these things. And it's just like, I can't deal with it.
Yeah, that's why I'm planning on only visiting and having a lot of fun and then just leaving.
But
It'll be great.
Going back into the horror
Yes.
stuff.
We've been talking about horror this whole time.
The horror show of international shipping. Anyhow, yes. What was your question? You were asking us about.
Guys, because I was talking about how horror can sometimes be misconstrued because of the visuals that people extrapolate from them. Meaning, like the goth and emo fashion also kind of just muddles the water so much. Manga also taking off from that. So, like, for you girls, like, what is it that you guys use to define when you say that you like horror? Like, what is a horror manga or horror comic for you guys? Because those are, like, if they're hard to come by as actually being scary when you say horror.
Mainly Junji Ito's work and the just how he conveys tone.
Mm-hmm.
That's what gets me. I forgot what the story that he did that kind of was very, like, genuinely made me unsettled. Was about a girl. A girl who was bullying a boy. You
Okay.
might know this. He was a. It's called Bully. Yes, it's called Bully.
Uh-huh.
The girl eventually was bullying this boy. They grew up. The boy and her got married. He left her pregnant and with a child, and she ended up returning to her old ways of bullying / abusing her own child, because he looks just like the boy that she used to bully, who is the father of the child.
Oh
And
my
that
goodness.
realization in the final page, where you have the mother literally dressed in her old childhood clothes and looking at her young child in a very mischievous manner is so unsettling because you know what's going to happen. You know she's going to abuse this child. And it just ends right there with you knowing what's about to happen.
I remember some of the visuals, but I don't remember the story anymore. Okay.
It was Junji Ito.
With like weird, unnerving feelings. Okay.
Yeah.
Like the mood that creates. How about you, Irene? Do you have something that helps you either have a predilection for certain kinds of horror or define it as horror when talking about manga?
Dude, I think I never thought about it until you brought it up, but you're right. There's not a lot of like really
It's
legit
hard.
horror manga, like
It's
horror
just
manga.
like blood pinatas everywhere and people
Yeah.
dressed as dogs.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
pretty much just Junji Ito, and that's it. I was like, thinking of the horror that I like, and it was like, there's the movies. One of my favorite horror movies is El Orfanato. I think it's Spanish
I've never
or
heard of
something.
it.
Like that. It's really
Spaniard.
good. And it's Spanish and like Spaniard, not Spanish. It is Spanish language, but anyways. And it's good. It's basically about a child going missing in an orphanage. Like its parents are it is this old house that used to be an orphanage, and his parents, moved into it. And there's a bunch of like creepy history in the orphanage, and then there's stories about the mother like kind of losing her mind and trying to find the kid. And like there's a like the twist in the end. It ties into like the past of the orphanage and like this kid who was shunned and like neglected in the
It's a
orphanage.
little. It's a little boy that has like a sack hat, right?
Yeah, in the past, and like the way it just all came together, and I loved how in that movie all the illusions and all like the weird sounds and the visions that were you could like the mother was seeing, it could have been real. It could have been like there were really ghosts haunting this old orphanage, or it could just be her losing her mind because her child is missing. And it was like, I love how it was filmed. It was very emotive, and I think that's what a lot of especially modern horror doesn't understand. And horror, I think it's about like good horror is about an emotional reaction, and it's not just about shock value or having something like putting a monster or a lot of blood on the screen. And let's see, and one of my I don't play a lot of video games, but one game I really like was Amnesia, and that's also the same. I always bring it up. I always bring it up because it makes such like most games. I'll try playing games. It's not like I don't try it. I just lose interest because I was like, oh, this is an immersive. No, the world building is shit, or it's not like this isn't actually scary. Whatever, this is bullshit. I'm just picky as shit. But like Amnesia, I was like, I couldn't stop playing it, and it's this guy that has amnesia, but also he's running around this mansion trying to find clues, and there's a monster chasing him. You can't see the monster. You can see, like, for example, when he's walking through this underground area that's flooded, you can see, like, water splashes when the monster's chasing him.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, and, like, the closer the monster gets, the more psychological damage you take. Like, the more, like, harder your character is to control, and the more, like, blurred your vision gets. But you can't see the monster, and that, like, the effect is just so good that it's just like you're losing control over your body because the controls just get harder and harder, and you can't see the monster. And that's like that kind of confusing fear of the unknown. I think that is good horror.
Except through splashes.
Yeah, and you know what? Like around the time where Amnesia had come out, I saw that like pretty much every reviewer was actually talking about it. It kind of became the new, for lack of a better word, because I'm spacing out on just better wording, like the new meta for horror video games. So much to the degree because like if you were talking about horror, everybody would now compare it to Amnesia or to that what do you call that? It's that pilot that was made for the next Silent Hill, but that was never made because it was just only that PT. Thank you. Yeah, there was that trial and like it's like super sought after because you can't get it anymore. But it was like it looked like such a cool game. And so like those were the two things that were being compared to everything. And so now, because there was such a big wave of how horror was now defined by these specific games, now the term amnesia clone is a thing. Because now so many games are trying to do the same thing. Now it's become a thing where it's just like making you helpless of a character instead of horror like more action-y. It's just take away a lot of your tools, make it so there's the stealth mechanics, light and darkness, and hiding monsters. And so there's like a lot of like indie projects, because that's an easier way of working with. Like you can make your assets a lot darker. Your mechanics don't need to be that complex. So a lot of indie devs go for that kind of stuff, and they can work well. But it can also be an exploitative, predictable system now, because it's now been tried out, and that's kind of like a now it's not new, and it hit people so hard because you were not used to feeling this tense and helpless in a game. Which I also wanted to say, thinking back on, like, again, playing Pathfinder and all that stuff, it is so weird to hear Irene talk about enjoying a game where she is helpless. Because time that you cannot have around to do something, it's just like I just hear her just like rattling that cage. And so it's like, man, it's so weird that she really likes Amnesia, because it really cripples you on what you can do. It's a lot of waiting too. You have to move around. It's really, really well captured, but a lot of it is like your inability to do something. Your helplessness is the enemy.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know what it is. I'm not going to get into dissecting the reasons now, but anyways.
No, it's just interesting.
Like, I like horror comics and I like horror movies. I like horror in that sense. I like horror books. I don't like horror video games. There's something about just being in there. I just don't want to
It makes it personal.
It's one of the reasons why I will never get into Five Nights I will never play Five Nights at Freddy's. But I like the lore and the story of it. Sorry, I misspoke. I will never play Five Nights at Freddy's. But I like the story and lore.
Guys, that's a funny step to take on.
I want to be immersed. Like, the more immersion, the better. Oh, I don't want to.
It can be, but it's like, that's a difference also. When we first got together talking with the AC, when I see media, I do like the idea of feeling something different. It doesn't have to be good, but I like the fact that something elicits something from me. And a lot of people seek only positive sensations or emotions, because it's break time. I'm looking for enjoyment. Whereas for me, I think it's part of the idea of like how muted I was emotionally growing up. That I'm like, I really enjoy the idea of feeling things that I don't usually get to feel or be emotive about. That's it's a cool exploration that you get to be on.
Right. I think like, personally, this is one of the reasons I like horror, is just because I really like a challenge, and like and I like a mystery. Just, I don't know, I like figuring things out, and I like facing a challenge and finding a way to overcome it. And I think horror is a real sense of that. And I guess it's a little depressing, even if it's like, but when you talk about Lovecraftian horror, that's, just kind of, you're so insignificant and nothing matters, and there's, it's an overwhelming entity, and so it's not really, that's not the same as what I was talking about. But
there's different kinds of horrors that one can enjoy.
Yeah. I think I like the idea of, like, it's about discovering some kind of truth, and it's that's really appealing. That's why I like murder mysteries as well. It's like, no matter what kind of truth, I want to know what it is, even if it's horrible. And I think that's really appealing. And also, there's so many, like, good human stories that could be told when people are pushed to the brink, and horror is a great medium for doing that. Mm-hmm. It's about pushing people to their absolute limits, and that's what's scary. But you can that's when character comes out.
I guess I hadn't thought about it that way before. I mostly like the drama aspect of it. I feel like I've always been more of a dramatist, so I love playing with, like, characters, like psychology and stuff, and just seeing, like, how this affects them and all that. I don't want to be in the driver's seat. I don't want to be playing a video game where I just am there. I don't like feeling scared myself.
No,
I like playing with it and crafting and seeing, like, characters, like, cope with this. How they handle it.
You like being the audience.
Yeah.
And I think that there's that level of comfort and intimacy that you can have with a project. So, like, even people that really like horror or like games or stories, a lot of them won't enjoy them by going in, like, VR, because it does reach that barrier and it forces you to be even more in front of these things. So it makes it so much more personal.
What about you, Missrena?
Yeah, I'm kind of the same way. I like the intrigue of horror, like knowing the truth, no matter how
Hmm.
horrifying it may be.
Right, right. I just find that really appealing. I don't know. I don't know. It's fun. It's kind of interactive in a way, even if it's like not like a video game or something.
So
Uh,
like there are like different levels of horror as well. We were kind of talking
yeah.
about that earlier, how it's like some things like they might claim to be horror, but they're actually kind of more like action and gore and stuff like that. But I feel like there's different levels. Like you can get
Well,
like
sure, everything's a spectrum.
oh well yeah, but there's a bunch of different flavors of it. So is since we've been talking about that, like what how does this relate to Black Rhapsody? Is Black Rhapsody actually like does it actually have horror in it? Because I don't see real like horror there, but I do see like opportunities for like darkness and like
Uh, there was a page that Rennie I sent Rennie if she could show it. It's with the three girls.
The girl claw. Oh yeah, that's the only page I haven't pulled up yet. Good job, me. There you
Yeah,
go.
good job. Like right, the one
Does
where
that answer your question?
yeah.
Well, that does. I like those designs. I was like, oh, I'm totally gonna pull that up and I'm gonna save it for later, and I just forgot about it. This what I suppose you can't spoil it by telling us like what's going on. I guess it's like it seems to me like it's a girl band that transforms into like monsters or something.
You're not wrong. This is like in the first few pages of the book. These girls are called the Glamorous Marionettes. They're like a bubblegum pop group. Bubblegum pop is basically kiddie music and whatever the hell is on the Disney Channel that day.
Okay.
And they're based off of like your stereotypical idols, but as well as the Uranids, also known as the Furies, the Greek chthonic goddesses of vengeance. So from left to right, you have Alcito, Megara, and Tiffany.
I wish I knew these names.
Oh God.
Honey, you know one of them. You just don't know anything at all about the character. Remember Megara? She has nothing to do with her actual Greek persona, but she sure has the name.
Disney is historically and mythologically accurate, guys.
Yeah, I decided to do a bit of kind of like a bit of subversion instead of making them like this like how you imagine if they'll be like a metal band. I decided to make them like a pop idol group.
Yeah, it makes me think of what is that genre? Kata was really into it. It was like this kind of metal, but it was like death metal, but like Lolita death metal.
Baby metal.
Baby metal? I think that's what that's
It's not a genre, but as a band.
Yeah,
it's
a group.
It's a band. Okay. It's very specific, I guess. But yeah, like it kind of makes me think of that. I feel like I'm seeing some Lolita vibes in here.
Kind of, yeah.
You know what I'm actually feeling nostalgic for is the thin line work and lack of line weight, because it is making me think a lot about when I was first getting into shoujo manga during high school, and just noticing how thin the line can be everywhere, and the predominance of
I'm not weird.
effects on top of it, or like pattern.
Wait,
Weird?
who are you talking about?
It's
We're all
me.
weird.
You should be used to this channel by now. You know that I'm a weirdo.
I like how this also comes from from this icon from a person called 24 Eyes.
24 Eyes. He has a YouTube channel. I've been on his show. No, we embrace the weird. It's cool.
Yes.
I think I worked so much on line weights, and like I was trained to draw comics in America, and I try to like kind of mix in a manga style, of course, but like
you also try and distance yourself from like the more girly styles and like shoujo that's like really thin. So like I would not see
super thin, delicate lines.
I'm nostalgic for it because I really like it. I like the difference, and I think that it is ripe for exploitation. Because and subversion, because like you see these line weights and you know what to expect. You have an expectation without looking at the designs, without looking at the story. So I really like this idea, and seeing it, show this scary stuff on there with thin shoujo line work is really fun. I really like this. Makes me wish Sailor Moon had gone in this direction on some points. Because
Yeah.
they try to go a little dark. It's like it never goes.
Yeah,
this
that's
like,
Maybe I would have watched it if it did.
yeah, that's the third season of Sailor Moon you're talking about.
Okay. No
Yeah,
idea.
It helps like that fine line weight really helps things look really delicate and kind of weightless almost. And so
Yeah.
with long fingers and stuff, it helps them look very fine and delicate.
It also
You know,
very
like-
effective. Go ahead,
Oh
Erin.
no, I was just gonna say it. You know, when I see this art style now, though, what I'm impressed by is how they manage to still have a depth and keep everything separated. And I like when I see this type of manga art, especially, I've been finding myself studying how they separate the planes and stuff while like doing line weight so differently than American artists, because it's a very different approach, and it seems like just a total different way of thinking, because when we're trained to ink, it's like things that are closer to the camera, you like thicken the line weight more, but they don't do that here.
To be
Just
fair,
art
and
nerding.
here, we're seeing some line work on the clothing that is unusual from what you usually see in shoujo. Even when you have thicker textures, you don't actually use thicker line work, but that actually helps you separate from the cloth and the body. But yeah, even then, it's just like it's used to a degree that it doesn't call attention to itself. So yeah, it's really fun. Makes me think of that stuff.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I'm
oh.
art nerding out.
So we were talking about like specifically as dark stuff happens, but like my question is, where does the comic book lie on the spectrum? Because we talked about like horror and stuff, and we got deviated in that whole talk, but then we talk about wanting to have the influences from like Greek and Roman gods, and then also having like properties like different holograms and Madoka Magica, Sailor Moon have their influences on there. So like we're on the spectrum for like since we talk about like horror being defined by mood and stuff, like what mood does this kind of a book elicit from its audience, or what is it expected to where is it expected to lie?
More on the despair side of things.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
The spare side?
So all right. So it
Yeah,
really
because you have a teenage girl who ends up, well, this might be kind of a spoiler, but she ends up pissing off the goddess. Now she has an entire country coming after her, and very few people to help her.
Okay. Is it a similar kind of like despair vibes? Because like you say despair, and I think Magical Girl is like, Madoka Magica. I think of that. Is it
Basically, that
like
this
kind of
fight, basically, what I mean by how I explain it, the fight is not going to be easy. It's going to be constant pain, sacrifice, death, and sometimes you will want to give up. It becomes so impossible. Basically, if I had to compare closely, you ever heard of Higurashi?
Yeah.
When they cry?
Yes.
It's kind of like Rika's situation
Okay.
from
I forget the
Higurashi.
name.
Little girl with blue hair.
Oh, okay. So I forget the names. I always
The
like
giant bobbly heads. I hated the art style, but it was
Yeah, I know.
It was one guy that made that CD. Very daunting. Quit his
Don't
job.
worry, Eric. I'm not going to spoil much. It's just like a slight spoiler.
It's not like you gotta mention.
Just a warning, you can always plug your ears.
No, I don't think these are. You're not really spoiling. You're just saying like the character journey is going to be hard. It's just.
Also, that series is long. Also, if you want, especially if you want to find out about that girl, that is a rabbit hole to try and find out.
Yeah, I know. I read the manga before I watched the anime, and even then, I haven't finished the anime.
We haven't finished it either.
I played the game. Oh my god, it's so long to wait for it. Because like
I don't.
It was it was a predecessor to all these like darker like cutesy girl stuff. So like it really lingers. It's like trying to feel you make you feel comfy, making you feel comfortable. Like hey, it's this day in day out. We're playing board games. We're having fun with it. It's like oh my god, yeah, but can we get to the new stuff? It is so long to play the game at first. It's like, can't we get to the twist part where we get to engage with the stuff that I care about?
That was what that franchise left on you. That was the
It
impression
is
it left
hard.
on you.
I think it's bound to have a better effect on people going in, kind of like Madoka Magica. bound to have a better effect on you if you're actually fooled by that first episode that is trying to be really twitchy.
Oh,
Yeah, I never got into the
Into
games. I'm
madness.
not interested much in visual novels, but I got into it through the manga, then through the anime, which I never finished because I have the attention span of a gnat.
I mean, there's a lot, and there's like different series and stuff
It was
too.
it was hard to even figure out which one came first. I had to sit down with
Yeah,
AC
oh my
and
god, trying to figure out
which
which
one
came
was
first was
better.
difficult.
It's like
Yeah.
fate. What came first? There's so much of everything. It's so
I guess, but
confusing.
the thing is, just
Don't
in
get me
Fate, it
started on
doesn't-
Fate.
In Fate, it doesn't matter because it's literally
That's
a
true.
world reset. So it's like it's just like new girl of the season. It's like it doesn't matter. With Higurashi, you have to watch it in order, which is kind of annoying.
Yeah, I think that's why I never really
got.
got into it. It's just too much.
I got into both.
I don't know how you do it.
Persistence and perseverance.
Right, well, I don't have time anymore.
I think it's just
but-
like pacing oneself. It's just like again, like I also don't have time to watch a lot of shows, eye to eye, and like I would have to with Higurashi, I'd have to with Fate because you want to pay attention to those cool fight scenes, or you want to pay attention to those little details like, time loops and stuff. Like, what is different now that was not different in the episode? Blah blah blah. So you just gotta take it slowly, and so sometimes we just sit down for like dinners and stuff, and like let's watch like one episode, and we'll eat it very slowly, but we'll eventually get there.
Oh, I don't. I can't watch anything or read anything anymore. I'm like, any minute that this is all wasting time, I need to be drying. But anyhow,
Yes. I also just really appreciate slow burns.
yeah, that's true. But someday I'll have time to watch shit again. Getting back to Black Rhapsody, what so we were talking about the mood of your story, and I guess it's from what you mentioned, it's
Despair.
It's despairing, and it's supposed to feel really hard for the main character. I was wondering, hopefully without getting into spoiler territory, like what's the character journey of your main character? Like she's up against like these really big stars in her world, and she pissed off these stars that are basically like they're all goddesses and they have goddess powers, and I really like that setup. But what is her evolution? Is it just like she hones her skills and she becomes more powerful at what she does, or does she like learn something along the way? Can you tell us?
Oh yeah, actually, I have a question to piggyback off of that one. I was actually going to ask something pretty similar. Like, what actually is specifically the premise of the story? Like, you mentioned that she pisses off this goddess, but like, what is the launch pad of this story?
I can't reveal that part, but I can tell you that her growth comes also from her powers because she is a necromantic character, meaning that she can communicate with the dead, and as she sings, especially to those who have experienced loss, her music can reach them, and they're likely to support and help her. So her journey comes from the help of others, but also her changing herself and her becoming more self-aware about her actions affecting other people.
Okay. So she has necromantic. I can see. I know that, especially playing like role-playing games so much, necromancy is seen as a evil thing. But from what you're saying that it is about bringing back people, or she can contact people who have suffered and they're dead, but they have suffered. And is that right? Because that's really interesting. That's different than like, oh, you're just exploiting dead people. Is she like asking for their help instead?
We'll get to that. Yes.
Stop spoiling my story. Sorry, I'm really enthusiastic.
Yes. Alethea, she's based on Hecate, and Hecate was well known for being a friend to the spirits of the underworld. This gets translated into her powers, in which she can sing and bring spirits forth, but only when the spirits of people who were wronged in life can mete out their justice against their wrongdoer. So let's say you have a murder victim and you have the murderer right in front of you, she will sing and it will beacon the spirit to basically try to enact whatever justice they see fit against their murderer. with people who are the victims or like people affected by the death of the person, they can get one last chance to speak with them or interact with them before passing on, giving them some closure. So she can't really control them because if she does, they will turn against her. As you said, necromancers are always seen as evil because they use the dead for their own purposes. Here, Hecate, they have to give the dead have to have a reason to want to help her because it's about their power. They're the ones that hold the power, not her. So if
So
she
it's more,
tries to force them to do what she wants, they will turn against her or try to harm her.
so it's more of a communication tool instead of like a puppet string.
Yeah,
Okay.
I like that. like that.
because
Oh, go ahead.
if I just made her a straight up necromancer, she will be a villain character. Because that was the one thing that kept bothering me, or people were saying about her abilities.
It can be, but you know what? Like, there's other media that also treats with necromancers that don't necessarily have that negative connotation. Obviously, being a big fan of Shaman King, I always think of characters in there that would use necromancy, but it was like, oh, they're like good people and they're like seeking something. Or I think Final Fantasy X with Yuna.
Final Fantasy X.
Yuna, it's like I thought that was very interesting because her powers are actually about communicating with the dead, and it's just a difference of terminology.
Well,
It's
yeah,
just like, she's a priestess, but she's communicating and using the dead and using their energy. So it's like it's interesting that nobody ever like talks about that because she dresses in white and she like is very peaceful and soft spoken.
I mean, it's not just terminology. It's how you define it, really. Like, you can talk about like spiritualists and mediums and shamans and stuff like that. It depends on like where you draw it from. There are tons of mystical practices regarding either communicating or dealing with the dead in one way or another. So
like voodoo, like voodoo magic.
Yeah.
That's just like it's the lens that you put over it. You know, talking about this and like the expectations of like necromancy or having a darker character. I can't help but just like when we went back onto that picture that was used for the thumbnail here of your main character, kind of like being divided between her powered up form and her civilian form. It makes me obviously like the hair metal look makes me think about how we were talking about early on Gem and the Holograms.
Duality.
And it makes me wonder, like, the talk that we've been going over about the despair and the necromancy and like the issues that character has to go through, and I can't help but just like look at this picture, it's like, but it looks so happy and poppy, and I can't help but just keep thinking Gem and the Holograms, like we're gonna go on a world tour and beat the other guys out there.
Well, Madoka Magica was kind of like that. Well, look how that turned out.
I guess so, but like it's like, but that was a deliberately misguiding the audience. So I guess that was my question there, because like, when I think about like the music stuff and I see this kind of poppy stuff, like it's not to say that it contradicts it, but I just get asking, is there like a space in there for this like Gem and the Holograms influence and this like more poppy and music stuff, specifically that having chosen music as part of the comic, which is another one of those challenges. We talked about horror and how it's hard to come up. It is also very difficult in North American and comics and in manga, because like the main concern that always comes from like comic readers is like,
in general.
I can't enjoy the fucking music when I just see drawings and all I see is like letters and stuff. So it's like it's really hard to get that across. What made you go for the music, and what kind of a space or role does it fill?
I was just about to ask her that, and I have more questions, but go ahead.
Yeah.
Oh, dang it, Nick!
Well, the reason I chose music because I want my magical girls to have a theme. Because I was looking at other magical girl properties such as Sailor Moon, which has a solar system and planetary theme. Tokyo Mew Mew has like an environmentalist animal theme.
Mm-hmm.
So I went a theme for my girls, and I chose music.
Okay, it's like I when I saw that, it's like I thought that the theming part was the depicting the gods kind of being related to the different characters and stuff.
So there is going to be a battle of the bands somewhere in this comic, right?
This
gonna
comic is
happen.
basically Battle of the Bands, the comic.
That's
Alright.
awesome. I like this summarization. Maybe Human says this is waifu is putting on a rock concert tour in hell.
Yeah, you can say that.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Thank you, Maybe Human. I do want to ask. So, I have so many questions. One at a time, Irene. Okay. Do you actually, because what I've realized with like drawing anything in comics, it's really hard to, for example, like just drawing fighting scenes, for example. I've had to, gone out and actually like bought sample weapons to just figure out how to actually use the weapons, and with like just firearms, the whole reason I've gone to try out different firearms because I have to draw it and I have to have actual experience in it. And with music, I would be terrified to draw any comic that is about playing instruments because I'm not musically inclined. Are you actually a musician, and like, how is the artist dealing with that?
I'm not a musician. I'm not musically inclined, but how I do the fight scenes in the story is that you see right here, you can see that Hecate on the left, not the left, the right side is holding what looks to be a staff. In order to power up their weapons or their mics, as it's called in the story, they have to sing into it. And it powers it up. With Hecate, she has to sing into her mic, her weapon, in order to unleash a powerful attack, which you later see in the story.
Okay.
Alright.
Okay. So, I guess it's not as hard with a comic because it's not motion, but when it's like animation or something, like, how that effect of you see in the movie an actor is like playing an instrument, but anybody who actually plays an instrument can tell they don't actually know how to play it. That's what I was talking about.
It's a matter of like artists finding reference, really.
Yeah,
That too, but it's
not just that. It's not just accuracy. It's like it's the challenge of like in a visual medium trying to create something that is supposed to be heard. It's unusual, and like I've seen a lot of comics actually have a lot of shortcomings for trying to tackle that without having something of importance or how they're going to use it beyond the surface level value of what music is, instead of just saying like it's art, therefore it adds something to it. A lot of comics actually have to shift their style altogether. This is not the most highbrow example, but like the first thing that comes to mind was when I was browsing some of the comic book racks back in the US. I remember coming across I think it was like Batman Jazz, a comic book called that, and the art style was very jazzy, and I think the art style like shifted completely into like very almost Picasso-like art, doing action scenes and like moments where the music was relevant. And so, but you see that, and again, sorry guys for like the very lowbrow examples, but it's just the ones that I think of. Like I think Batman Jazz, and then I think Batman Rock and Roll, which was a terrible comic. It dealt with the idea of music, but all that it was is that people sing and there's lyrics in there, and there's like a Elvis analog that is like going off the deep end because it takes drugs, and Batman tells you that it's bad, and the Rock is ruining the youth. Like it's like
riveting.
I won't go that far.
Rock and roll killed my parents, literally.
I don't think you're gonna go that route, Missrena.
I'm not saying that.
No.
No, but it's like I'm trying to like make that margin of just like a comic that just got music because like it's like it connects to, they want to tell a story with a musician, but there's nothing that really makes the book better for having music aside from the fact that they put lyrics of some Elvis songs. Whereas a comic that didn't have to use lyrics but wanted to be able and give off the feel of jazz by using the art style and the flow of panels to mimic it.
Well, I was actually thinking more, the first thing that came to my mind was Scott Pilgrim.
I never read
We're
Scott
just going
Pilgrim, but
lower and lower. I'm just kidding. I know a lot of people like Scott Pilgrim wasn't my thing. It's
Okay,
cool. If you
fine.
like
Whatever.
I love that. Respectfully, we're just going
It's-
lower and lower.
It's fine if you liked it, but
Honey, it is okay for us to like a different comic than I read.
did
We
you know
did
it's
it. We
okay
did it,
for us
honey.
to have different
We did it.
interests?
Everybody in the chat, we did it. We can like different things.
Yeah.
Thanks, Avery.
I
No problem.
For the record, I didn't read the manga. I watched the movie, but I know it's
Even worse.
Same. God.
Oh my
Renee.
god.
Sorry.
Ignoring Irene for a second here. From what I remember that worked well about Scott Pilgrim the movie, and I assume that it took a lot from the comics. There has to be a lot similar. In the comic,
Yeah.
Is that like when it gets to the music, in order to represent the music, it has bombastic visuals and stuff, and it actually becomes like a fight scene in itself.
It was
just
very
with
music.
Yeah, like that's honestly the vibe that I'm getting. Even if you say that, like, I don't know, you don't like Scott Pilgrim or whatever, like that's kind of the similar vibe that I'm getting. You're getting like magic and stuff in here, and I'm like, I want to see like magic hitting people in the face.
And I remember, like, Brian Lee O'Malley and also the director were really interested in the particular music that was being used in the movie. They got a cover for one of the songs that is actually more listened to than the original version of the song. Some of these, and it was like, I think it was like a secret cover or something. I forget what it is, but like they clearly had a passion for music, and they use it in their own way. I think that despite Irene's comments, like I really like that movie. It's one of my favorite ones at the time, and I think that they do some very gutsy things that show that there's passion in the topics that are being covered. And so music is a very strong, not just genre, but also a subculture that even follows it. So that's why I ask about the music. Is there something that leads you onto that decision? Because it's not only just a challenging obstacle for a visual medium, but also it kind of attributes a particular kind of group of people that now have expectations beyond just the whole, dark magical girls that already has a thing that music brings a set of expectations or intrigue to that. And so I was wondering, like, how was that used, or what made you want to use the music, or how do you expect to use it in a comic book?
It might be difficult to translate the comic because you can't really convey sound, but I was thinking about having like an album accompanied with it.
Oh, that's one.
Focus on different genres. Like for my first campaign, I was thinking about having a stretch goal for like a R&B styled album modeled after Beyonce's old music.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, did you say you're looking into having an album accompanying the comic?
Yeah.
Cool. Right.
Wow.
I was just about to say that, because that's something I'm very interested in, is hiring musicians to make music for comic projects, and I'm glad there's someone else who is, that's not that weird, because there's some other people who are doing it. Because I don't know, I feel like even though people, like, usually music is seen as more something to go with a medium that would come with audio, like animation or movies, I think, like, it's not that strange to have a soundtrack for a comic, whether it has something to do with music or not. But that's really awesome that you're looking into that. Are you already hiring artists? I mean, like musicians to
No,
to do
I'm
that?
kind of looking into musicians, or trying to find musicians who are specifically female musicians who specialize in the R&B or hip hop genre.
Okay. Cool. Well, there's yeah, it's, I don't know. I wish there was more that I could say about that, because it's also a challenge that I'm trying to overcome. But I really hope that you get to you figure that out, because that would be really cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it would be.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Shane,
Cool.
good night. Thanks for joining us.
Good night.
Yay. Let's see. Let's go look back at some more of this awesome artwork.
Yes, I also would like to say that I'm close to 400 signups. I'm on 390.
Oh,
Sweet. Yeah, that's a lot. When is the actual campaign launching?
In March. The specific date is still to be
I'm
announced.
excited.
Okay. Okay.
I'm kind of nervous.
Do you? Oh, don't be. I mean, you have almost 400 people on your signups, and you still have like 3 months to go.
Like really cool previews, and you're also tapping into subcultures that I think have a big audience right now. Like I know that's not the most sought after, but like I think especially after Madoka Magica, it has been accepted into a lot more of the mainstream to like magical girls as a genre. For all kinds of audiences too. I've been able to actually talk a lot more about magical girls. Not here with Irene, but people are rolling their eyes at me. But like, I've been able to bring it up more in conversations ever since that happened.
Yeah, and I think it's due to the fact that it's people our age who grew up in America, which is not me, kind of watched Sailor Moon when they were younger, and now they're all adults our age, and it's becoming more acceptable because that's what everybody grew up watching. It's like Dragon Ball and Sailor Moon, I guess. Or so I've been told that's how normal childhood is supposed to be.
Nice.
Wait, you didn't have a normal childhood? What?
I didn't have a... Are you surprised I didn't have a normal childhood?
I thought you was normal.
How do you think I turned out the way? No, I mean, I'm totally normal. Eric says the art is wonderful too. The facial expressions and the chest buttocks are splendid. Yes, they are. Sign up link is in description. Everybody sign up for this wonderful art and the chest buttocks. Are there?
God, really?
Hey,
chest buttocks.
We promote the chest buttocks on this channel. Everybody knows that.
Free booba.
Yes, free booba. # free booba. Do you have any rewards for people who sign up?
Yes, those who sign up will get access to a secret tier, as well as trading cards based on one of the characters from the book.
Oh, fun!
Ooh.
Cool. Yeah, trading cards are nice.
Secret tier.
Yeah, those are cool.
Oh God, that's my childhood right there.
What?
Oh, all the DBZ Tenshi, Pokemans, but Sailor Moon, yeah, thank you, Alex VRB. Eric the Guapo, the artist is Jan Apple, and I should have linked her in the description, but I will do that in post.
I will say that art piece you have up
here. Right.
Yeah, that's her. I wanted you to go back to the other art because that was done by a different person.
Oh, okay. Wait, which one? Like this one?
No, the other one. The blue one, yeah.
Okay.
That was done by Aaron Prestadia. That's how I'm pronouncing it.
Ooh,
yeah, he was my original artist before I contracted Jan.
Okay. What is her name again?
My artist's name or the name of the artist who did this piece?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this piece.
Yeah, this one.
His name is Erwin Prestadia. He's Indonesian. I'm probably not pronouncing his name correctly.
Okay.
Perhaps would you be able to maybe type it in the private chat so Irene could share it maybe?
Yes, that would be great. Thank you. Because I like to promote artists, but I am not going to spell that correctly. Well, cool. I really wish you had your campaign live because I really want to see it.
No, well, maybe that's an incentive for you to come back when it actually is.
Yes.
Yeah, you're more than welcome to. Of course.
Yes.
Anytime.
By the way, since we've been talking about a lot of these projects, like manga influences, and a lot of like magical girls, anime manga, and like girls in music. I think I don't know if you have seen it, but a North American series that I actually quite enjoyed and actually caught my attention when I was actually first getting into comics because of the unusual fact that at least back then. Nowadays it's more common, but back then it was weird to see a North American artist actually having so much manga influence in it. It's a series called Blue Monday from Oni Comics. I really liked it. It has like this kind of Archie comics feel, just like a slice of life stuff. But it's
I
like
never heard of it.
It's really cool. Here, this is like one of the.
Blue Monday. No.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's just like
heard of the name, but if it's slice of life, I would have.
Well, I know because I talked to you about it, Irene. I mentioned it a few times on the stream. I know that you just put that in whenever I talk about the series that I like, but.
It's only ever you.
I guess
it's okay.
Slice of life is not my thing.
Oh yeah, oh bummer. Because like I really like that, like these really sassy girls, and there's a bunch of like manga and anime references in there. It was kind of weird because like you didn't used to hear that kind of stuff in the mainstream back then.
Yeah, I don't know if John is asking what slice of life is. If you are, it's just like no magic, no action. It's just people living their lives, but you just have your day-to-day dramas or something like that. Something like very
Yeah.
It's a day-to-day kind of plot. It doesn't necessarily have higher stakes or necessarily a chronological thing. It can even be like
That seems very boring to me.
episodes without any ongoing story.
yeah.
It's very common in manga, and it's basically I don't know. It's people like
It's very
it.
mellow.
It's very mellow and like it's characters living relatable, daily life things, and I find it boring as fuck. But
Yes, I don't want relatable daily life. I live daily life every day.
Oh my gosh.
but
I have to
it's
ask- I want to ask the chat: Is Nick all alone, or do any of the rest of you guys like slice of life stuff?
it's not. I'm actually maybe I'm coming across as too judgmental. I can see why people like it. Because it's very relaxing, and if you have a stressful life, you're just reading about these characters going around being happy. It's nice, but it's not my thing.
I mean, I like some
I
sitcoms.
can see why people like it. Ugh.
Yeah, I have opinions. Did you know? Have you noticed? I have opinions. I'm loud and I can't shut up about it.
The only slice of life comic that I like is Sunstone.
Sunstone.
No
I
idea.
actually don't know about that one.
Okay, it's an erotica. It's about
Mhm.
the BSM lifestyle,
Okay.
and it focuses on the budding relationship between these two women, Allie and Lisa.
Oh, okay.
No.
Now that I see the art, like, yeah.
That's
I have
like-
no idea.
Like, I follow this artist, and I was like, I
Looks
always,
familiar.
Stepan
see this
Sajek. That's his name.
Oh, the unpronounceable name, right?
Yeah, I love his
Yeah.
art. I've been a
Yeah.
fan of his art since I was in middle school.
Right, I've been following him since the good old DeviantArt days. I didn't know he was drawing any comics.
Yeah, he's drawing a lot of stuff on his DeviantArt.
Okay.
Shinans?
Cool. Eric, the book is in black and white right now, but color is going to be a stretch goal, right? I did want to mention, someone also asked if you're going to do like 2 versions of it, because it does look really good in black and white.
Yeah. She did say that she's making a black and white version, and then making a stretch goal to make, another color version.
Okay, I'm just bad at listening. Cool. That would be great, because it does look really good in black and white.
Thank you.
Ooh.
Yeah, this page is what leads to the conflict that inevitably unfolds in the story.
Billy Basso is in the chat, and he is also drawing a comic about music, Rock and Roll Ninja. And if anyone hasn't checked that out yet, you should, because it's kind of awesome. And he is also an amazing artist, and the art looks really good. Got a lot of like music and comic stuff. Say Show 60 had QR code on a page of a female punk band playing, and when you scanned it, a Japanese girl punk band would play its song. Huh, that would be a really interesting idea. Yeah. To integrate like a QR code into like a comic page or have it like in the corner, and
I have no idea how to do that.
No, it's not hard at all. It's not hard at all. You can generate a QR code with any link, and if you get music made for your comic, that's a brilliant idea, and I didn't even think of that, but that would really integrate well, especially because with the setting, it wouldn't be that weird because it's a pretty modern setting, so, having a QR code wouldn't be that strange, I think. So basically, if you get music made for your comic, or when you do, because you're already looking at, you said you want to do that, you can upload it onto a website and you can generate a QR code out of any website link. So you get that QR code and you print it on the comic. So whenever someone's reading the comic and they start, like the characters start playing music or singing and the battle starts, all the person has to do is scan the QR code with their phone, and that'll take them to the song website.
You want me to have
the
the
URL.
QR? You want me to have a QR code for like all certain pages? Like how would that?
Oh, no, I think it's a really cool idea, but it doesn't have to be like every battle. If it's, if you have music to go with like key big battles, I think that would be really cool. I'm pretty sure that's what Billy is saying. You guys see what I mean?
Yeah, it's just that I don't know how to implement it without coming across as clumsy or messing up the art.
I
think
see
it could
that.
be
I don't know. I
implemented,
think it'll be
that,
done.
now and then, like things could be part of the background, or it could just be part like an intro or something, and cover if it's something that ends up interesting, it could be something that could be used in one way or another.
Yeah, that might be something to talk to your artist about, maybe, if you like the idea.
Yeah, I think if you plan for it, then it could definitely be done. Have like a little graphical element around the QR that's like integrated into the corner of a page when a battle starts, or you can print the QR codes on a separate card that comes with the comic, and so that when the reader's reading it, they can see on this page, hit this QR code.
Or you guys, I'm thinking about I'm thinking about like in Shonen Jump, when you sometimes have since you have to like jump between like series because they have like little previews of the chapters. At front of them, sometimes you have like these pages that even have like little blocks telling you about the characters and stuff. You could even have like a little reference page on the front or on the back, and telling them like, oh, if you want to listen to music together with this, these are QR codes that you could put to different scenes along the comic. And this one's tied to page blah 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 and all that, so that that way you wouldn't have to disrupt the comic with it.
Yeah.
You'll have to show me specifically of what page to see how it's done. I need to see it up.
Oh yeah, it's super easy. Just literally just Google generate QR code, and
I meant the page that he was talking about.
Oh, like
the actual page.
You know what? I don't really have much to talk about for a bit, so I guess I'll go look for that.
Alrighty, Nick will come back and enlighten us with how this is done. I can see that working out, so I think that would work. Billy says it can be tiny in a corner or on someone's shirt, or like on a character's banner. I don't know. Very interesting. Yeah, it's integrating it aesthetically would probably be a challenge. I could see that, but
yeah,
it can be done. I don't know. It's not. I think it would be cool. Maybe Human said that's a really cool idea, having a background song available for the singing pages. Yeah, that would be great. That's kind of the challenge with like, I really like how in digital comics and in like visual novels and stuff, there's so many cool integrations, like sliding pages and little animations and effects and sounds and music that you can integrate into it. But I also love print comics so much, so I want to find ways where you can integrate different mediums and effects into print comics, because I like having the book in my hands.
Yeah, I've seen webtoons do something very similar, integrate music or sound effects into the book.
Right. Yeah. It's, if it's like digital comics, it's, I thought, I always thought like it was really cool when they do like visual novels and they add all these sound effects and stuff. But I don't know. I've never tried it myself, just because at the end of the day, I'm like, I guess I'm more of a, when it concerns my own work, I think it's cool when other comic series add sound effects and animations, but I feel like when I'm doing it, I just want it to be a pure comic. Like, the story should read fine on its own without any gimmicks, and if it's not appealing enough without these gimmicks, then it's not, my work is just not good enough. So I don't want to rely on those things. But when other people use it and it thematically ties into the story, for example, if it's a story about a band and they have background music on the website, on the webcomic website, that's really perfect, and I appreciate it. I can even hide it in the hieroglyphs on temples or scrolls, if you have that in the story. Yeah. No, there's a lot of ways to hide QR codes and stuff. Anyways, it's just a suggestion.
Something you'd need to talk with your artist about, what she would think would go well with her work, or how she could add it like into like make it flow in or something and not distract from her artwork or something. If you like the idea. Yeah, no, something to think about. Gifted. Adam says, I have been really pumped about this book. Yes, it looks really good, and I am pumped about it as well. The art is super sexy and rad. You're right. It's by an artist called Jan Apple. Looks great.
I remember Black Side using lyrics of the song to give a mood to the panel. It did in several times. Did it?
Yeah.
I never read that comic.
Oh, it was
Yes.
really good. But I don't remember
Yeah,
this
look,
specific thing Yvonne
Wasn't
mentioned.
that furry noir comic?
Yeah.
yeah.
It's
Really.
anthropomorphic. It's not a furry book.
People can call it
Sorry.
whatever. People can call it whatever they want. It's kind of like
No, I am offended on behalf of Black Side.
Yeah, it's kind of when people talk about comics as like graphic novels and stuff. It's like it's a comic. People can call it whatever they want, and it attributes their own feelings towards it. But
Alright, let's
It's
not
just
get carried
phenomenal.
away.
Larry is anti-furry. If you're
I'm
furry, you
s-
can leave.
I
because
know, I'm
it's
furry
not-
phobic, guys. I'm furry phobic.
anyways,
We shall never
Really?
talk about Black Sat again in that case.
No, I don't. I will. I will just be like, it's not furry.
I think specifically on Red Soul, there's a lot of scenes that are carried together with music. Red Soul and also Black Sabbath on the first comic, during some of the love scenes, there is some music in there as well. Missrena, this is the kind of pages that I was talking about. This is air gear, but like there's sometimes when in manga, when there's like too many characters and stuff, they have like pages like these, where like they actually catch you up on like some of the characters and like what they've been up to or like their relationships. So like these like just kind of come as like little preambles before the comic starts, and sometimes even
Holy crap, that's air gear.
Yeah.
air gear.
Yeah, I
so-
never read the manga. I only watched the anime.
Wow,
Oh,
really?
Is it anime?
I have never heard of someone that has only watched the anime of Air Gear, because like the manga is like
The manga is really
such a
pretty.
big seller for it.
It's really
Yeah.
But yeah, like it's those kinds of pages. Like they have like little preambles there to catch you up on things or to like indicate certain things. Like sometimes there's terminology. Like keikaku means plan. So like there's like little keywords, or like in North American comics, they have pages that actually tell you like, oh, this reference here that had a little tag on page 124, you can reference back to issue blah blah blah, where you will know what the hell they're talking about there. So stuff like this could be a way of being able to incorporate this kind of tech, or just bring up music without the need to actually disrupt the book.
Yeah, the art in Air Gear is great. Too bad it made no sense, but I will confess I was a huge Oguraido fan when I was like 16. I didn't give a shit about story. I just wanted everything to look cool.
What do you mean it didn't make sense, Irene? Obama was a little lowly girl that could summon
Wait,
a
what
killer
the fuck?
whale
Oh,
of cannons.
wait, what?
It's like, what?
Right, you're right. It's perfect logic. What am I? I'm
Maybe
just
you just
not
don't
on the
get-
same level as Oguraito.
I thought the symbolism was.
Wait,
just
what about Obama
basic
being a
things
little
that
girl?
you did,
This
but,
was in Air Gear.
Yeah, in the Air Year, Obama is a character, and Obama becomes a little moment girl.
Oh god, this comic is weird.
I love manga. Honestly, I always liked Tenho Tenge more. I feel like there was a little more of a story, and I just liked the
it's
aesthetic.
There's
Battle
more,
High School.
there's more story. There's less visuals though. This
Kind
Air
of,
Year
but
was because I have the comics too. There's some cool stuff in there, but like there was a lot more just like let's hang out and talk inside classrooms or in normal cities, whereas Air Gear was constantly going crazy and showing weird tech all the time, jumping off and like fighting whales.
it's fucking nuts, and it's about fucking rollerblading.
Yeah.
Rollerblading superpowers.
I prefer the anime over the manga. I haven't read the manga.
Wait, do you prefer it or you haven't read the manga?
I probably haven't read, but I still probably prefer it over the manga, knowing me.
I'm a bit of a manga elitist.
But,
Yeah. now they finally disagree on something. I'm usually a general manga elitist, except for like Attack on Titan.
you
where the
gotta
manga
be
looks
careful
like
when
shit.
saying things like that. Then people are gonna chase you down to make you eat your veggies.
I'm not always a manga.
Comics here.
These inks are just too good.
He's really good.
We
His
can't-
Oguraido is great.
Not to
He,
mention,
but he just needed a writer.
That's another one of the things.
I'm
that I
willing
really
to admit
like.
that the art style is good in Air Gear.
Yeah, it was really good, especially
But the understatement.
yeah. Like if you get the chance, pick up one of the manga and give it a shot. It looks so good. It looks so good.
It's like it kind of makes me think about similarly to like Ichiro Oda. It's like every page, every freaking new character that comes up is just very well designed. There's like weird street art on their outfits. and their fashion. It's like, how do these people have the time to just design each one of these guys to look like what it takes me to make a main character? It's just crazy.
I don't know, because they're crazy people with no lives, and I just, I have no
Their
answer.
design sense is awesome.
Yeah.
I love that stuff.
Yeah, that's true. That's
Ooh.
true. It's good
Ooh,
stuff.
and if we were talking about slice of life, if anybody cares in the chat, a recommendation for a really good slice of life comedy is Club 9. Really good expressions, awesome anatomy on the inks, and it is very cute, very funny. It's following a country girl that is going on to one of those weird Japanese host clubs and how she's trying to make a living. Very cute, very cute.
Some of the best expressions I've seen in manga.
Yeah, those faces are great.
I'm going to make a poll in the chat right now. You guys tell me if you like slice of life or not, because I feel like this is a active debate.
Slice of life sucks.
Slice of life.
I'm not
Slice
I
of
don't
life,
think
yay or
it's
nay?
Nay. Unless it's Sunstone, but that's different.
I actually thought that this was the stream where it's not gonna get constantly respectfully shit on for what I
Is
like.
is slice of life a terrible genre? All right.
Terrible, Irene.
Honey, come on, she's being respectful. She just has an opinion. Come on.
Ask
Don't
your
cancel
good there.
Irene.
Everybody, please vote right now. We shall settle this debate once and for
All
all.
opinions are accepted, but Irene will still tell you if your opinion is bad.
Well, yeah, of course. You wouldn't expect me to shut up about what I think, would you?
I don't like slice of life. Like typically, like I do not seek out slice of life. I typically turn it down if it shows up. But I do like some slice of life, so I'm not going to say it's a terrible genre. I'd have to say it's not a terrible genre if we're in that poll.
It's almost like I exaggerate things to be funny. But I don't know. It's weird.
I have liked slice of life in the past, and I will eventually bump into things. If you consider like sitcom slice of life stuff, I love that stuff. I still watch that.
Alice VRB says sometimes. That's okay.
Yeah.
Remember, like this is a very North American poll. It's polarizing. It's either yes or no. You're
Yes.
with us or against us.
Yes. And when I say it's terrible, I'm not exaggerating as a joke, but I totally sincerely mean it's all terrible and I hate it, AC. Remember that. She looks like she wants to kill me right now. Let's move on.
So, you guys got any more questions for me?
Oh,
right,
man.
Right. Questions.
Yeah, we're just chit-chatting now.
And self-indulgence.
Yes. I just realized we're hitting like 2 hours, and you did say you might have to leave.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah, we kind of just like always devolve and chit-chat. But do you guys have any more questions? I can't think of anything right now.
I think you had a list of questions.
Oh, God.
Chat, is there anything you guys want to ask Missrena right now?
A list of questions.
No. I kind of asked everything that I was thinking of asking.
I just want to know what the premise is, but you're keeping that under wraps. Why?
I mean, I guess I can kind of understand the premise. You know, it's this teenager. I don't know how she pisses off the gods or the goddesses and all the other, like the pop stars, but I think that's intrigue, and that makes me want to read it more. And so the premise is she pisses off these pop stars, and she has to go up against them and battle with her necromancy powers.
Ms. Rand,
Cool.
maybe like if since we don't really have many questions left, I guess maybe the thing is like, is there something else you'd like to maybe say about the book? Maybe a pitch out to people, or something that you'd like to share with them about the creation or inspiration or the process that has led to making that campaign?
That's a loaded question. Let's start with the first part. What led me to creating the book? That was what you asked me?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I'm just saying, it's like anything that you'd like to say about it. Maybe like we don't have any questions, but like maybe you have something that you'd like to still share with an audience that might help, that you think might help you kind of understand where you come from with the book, or find kindred spirits on like the kind of story that you want to tell.
It was I like dark stories center around like female characters. Like
Mhm.
my favorite current running manga is Murcielago, which is like a crime thriller about a basically it's basically if Dexter. You ever heard of the TV show Dexter?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
It's basically if Dexter was a psychopathic lesbian that was basically
Okay.
the police's personal assassin.
Huh. All right. Interesting.
Yeah, I just
So.
like that story because I just thought it's so zany, but it's like it has really dark moments because it deals with serial killers and criminals.
Mm-hmm.
Like one of the arcs had to do with a circus master manipulating, basically hypnotizing and drugging people into doing his bidding, all because he wanted to entertain people.
Okay.
Wow.
Another story was about a wrestler who was once loved by the public, going on drugs and basically getting addicted to a basically a steroid drug, super soldier drug that turned him into a crazy monster to the point where he had to be put down.
Okay. You know, these zany premises kind of make me think of like fun exploitation movies.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Well, that might be one of these selling points. That sounds pretty fun and zany. Like a lot of what you talked about, the book has been rather serious on there. Is that something to expect from the kind of mood we're setting
Yeah,
from
I
the
might
book?
have some zany moments because I do like to throw like crazy shit into my story just because of how entertaining and interesting it is. Like, how would this character handle the situation if Zeus was involved? And Zeus was just this horn dog who just wanted to sleep with any girl regardless of age.
I mean, but that is
Uh,
actually Zeus.
yeah,
So,
it is.
yeah.
Yeah,
I
it
didn't
is.
take it as like that serious after seeing this image, but seems
Yeah,
pretty
stuff
out
like
there.
that.
I just
Like,
don't
how
know.
far?
The context. So this
Yeah.
might be like I don't know if it's how serious things are or they're not. So yeah.
Alex
Okay.
BRB has a question. Are there male magical girls in this book? Whatever.
Seemingly not.
Are there? I think
Oh, just
you're
one.
heavily focusing on like female characters and like the female pop stars. Are there
Yeah,
any prominent male characters?
there are prominent male characters, as you will see later in the story. But no, there are no male magical girls. It's just gonna be straight up female.
Wow.
Okay.
All right.
Ooh, I'm gonna be pushing for that. I love my magical boys.
I feel like you have a lot of series that going on right now to feel that niche.
Right, you do like your magical boys. I'm gonna leave it at that. I will not expand further.
Oh God.
Anyways, I'm a fan of not magical boys, but I like men with swords killing things to be in my comics. But I am open to this premise nonetheless.
Magical men.
Magical
I
men,
have a
yeah.
magical girl who's basically based off of melodic death metal that has a giant sword that she
I
uses, like a sword mixed
am a
with
fan.
a freaking guitar, a guitar sword.
I think
Alright.
that's already my favorite character. That is all.
Yeah, she's based on.
Say no more. Say no more. You just said a melodic death metal character has a berserk guitar.
That sounds like
We're done.
every 15-year-old boy's like, main character has a sword. I'm in.
Yeah!
But what
I
about
have the
sword?
maturity level of a 5th grader!
But what about a sword that's also a guitar?
There was a sword, also a guitar, but it's also a spaceship! Wouldn't that be cool? Yeah, I write like Ogredo. Man. I think that's all I can think about right now, that without
Listen.
pushing for more spoilers.
I guess let's maybe ask Missrena to like push her social media before she has to run off.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anything you want to tell the chat and any social media, whatever you want to say. Take it away.
Yeah. Before I go, if you like music, blood, magical girls, horror, Lovecraft, and mythology, sign up for the mailing list for Black Rhapsody today, and you will get access to a secret tier upon launch, as well as training cards of one of the characters. You can find me on Twitter at Magic Gal Media. It's in my tag name. and in the description of the video.
There you go. If I make it big, well, there you go. Magic Gal Media.
Oh, okay, hurt me.
Yeah, and she has this banner, same banner on her Twitter, so you can follow her there.
All
right. And yeah, I'm really, like everybody in chat has been saying, and a lot of other artists I've heard from, everybody who sees this sign up page and this comic has said the art is mind blowing, and I really like the premise. Like, even though I'm not a magical girl person, like the other parts of this comic are really appealing to me, and I appreciate the art so much. So I love seeing more manga stuff out there, and I think this will do really well.
Thank you.
Yeah. So thank you so much for coming on. You're more than welcome to come on again once it launches. You have to.
Yes.
I insist.
Yes, thank you for having me on, and I appreciate getting to talk to you and AC and Nick.
You too.
We appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for staying so long as well.
Uh-huh.
Oh.
Did she freeze? Oh no. I don't.
No, I'm still here.
Oh, okay. Well, you can hang around if you want to. I was looking for questions to answer from the chat.
Okay.
Magical boys right, Bald. What?
Baldo? What the fuck is a Baldo?
Baldo?
Like
Baldos?
from the movie?
I am so confused.
You mean the wolf from the movie?
I thought that was like Baldos. I was like, is that something sexual? I'm so confused right now.
Oh God.
People are still talking about Slice of Life. Oh, the results of the Slice of Life poll. 58% says yes, Slice of Life is a trash genre. Well, you know, it's I guess it's pretty, you know, that's 50-50, but of course, you know, my opinion is winning, so I'm happy.
That's actually a lot more moderate than I expected from the chat.
No, people in the chat there were people that were saying they did like Slice of Life, you know, and I can see the appeal. It's just really not.
What? The poll was rigged. Recount.
Why is it rigged? How do I rig it? I can't even vote on it myself. I don't know how to.
Other accounts.
Me and my 5 other accounts while I'm actively talking to 3 people. I'm just for my YouTube polls. You know what's weird? I've heard people say we were talking about horror and slice of life, and that had me think of Mushishi. And as you guys know, I really like Mushishi, and I've heard, especially American media, describe it as both horror and slice of life, and I'm like, it's neither. Like, especially not horror. Yeah, it's supernatural, but it's not horror. It's really weird that, apparently some American audiences think Mushishi is horror. It's not.
It's because of that stuff.
I gotta go. See ya, guys.
Okay. See you. Thank you again.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
I want to say that Mushishi has elements of horror. It's definitely not a horror genre, but it does occasionally dip into having elements
suspense.
Of it.
There's no horror in Mushishi. Like, it does not lead into horror. Like, there's suspense, but there's never that release for horror. You're never afraid. You're maybe tense for a bit, but that's it. And yeah, like it's those elements. Is the fact that there's a little bit of intrusion into somebody's body and stuff, but it's always so calm. It's always so quiet.
Yeah.
That I don't think it ever reaches that point where it should be horror, or there's mystery, but like it's solved, and at the end, like there's a moral or something like this. And it's like it's a great show to just zone out to. It's so slow, it's so mellow, and it has so many moments where they're just like hanging out in prairies on sunny days. Love that stuff.
Yeah, and I can see more of why people would think it's a slice of life, but it's not either, because a lot of stuff happens, and there is it's just really subtle. And I had never read something that seemed to handle the mood so well, and that's part of why I love Mushishi so much. Like, the concept is really cool, like these beings that are, you know, between the veil of life and like this otherworldly plane, and I just really like the premise. But most of what made me really love it is the mood. It's so tranquil, but there's like this underlying mystery all the time. Like, there's so much more. Like, you want to know what happens next. Or you want to know like what is actually going on. Like, what new Mushi will you come by? You know, I
I know I've recommended it before, but have you had a chance to check out Mononoke?
But no, I haven't.
Oh, okay.
What is
It's-
Mononoke?
Mononoke is it's similar to Mushishi in that it is like an episodic adventure where you do go alongside a character that it's a quotation marks like Mushi expert, and then like he is his own thing in this one, but you explore these like supernatural like Japanese folklore things.
Is
and, like,
that the
there's
one where he runs a hotel and it's all like psychedelic colors and
he
stuff?
does run a hotel.
What is he? What is he
He's,
run?
he's a wandering magic guy. He doesn't.
Is it the super? Is it with the
You're
psychedelic
thinking about the
colors?
right one, but it's just you saw one episode and you thought that place was his. No, he's
Oh.
not. No, he's okay. He fixes things.
Okay.
Kind of like the Mushi master, kind of like knows about Mushis. This guy knows about spirits.
But
it's
it is
it's,
like really psychedelic colors. I think that's
It
what
is.
turned me off of it because I was like, oh my god, this is too much.
It can be very trippy, but I think it also manages that it can't. It's not necessarily fast paced. Like it can be slow, and there's a lot of dialogue in there, and it can be very messed up at times because you do find out some of these things, but it is restrained and it doesn't it's not trying to be exploitative and like show guts and gore, but it can deal with difficult subjects in there and uses a lot of metaphor to be able and actually tell a much longer story in a short episode, which I really appreciate. And again,
Cool.
very imaginative visuals. It gives it. It's kind of like Mushishi, but if Mushishi was stressful.
Huh.
Yeah, because
Okay.
it's the possessions and situations with the poltergeist are a lot more tense.
Right.
Mhm.
Right. Cool. Well, like you've recommended it me so many times, I'll certainly check
think-
it
I
out.
think you'd
I
like that
promise
one,
I will.
Barry.
Yeah. I've wanted to check it out when I first saw it, but I didn't quite understand the premise. I thought that the art was cool. I usually don't like things with like super bright colors. Again, it's kind of much for me, but I liked the art. It was so graphic. It was almost like they were taking Japanese prints and patterns and making a manga
Yeah.
I really liked how it looked.
Yeah,
I'll check it out.
What is the name of that really long one? Katakana Katana? Oh, God.
What?
Is it? Katana Monogatari. Katana Monogatari. That one's really pretty, and it also has that same feeling of it like making Japanese art prints into anime.
Like this,
Really pretty. But it is very dialogue heavy. I know that a lot of North American audiences have not liked it because they think it's too slow, but it's got cool action, and it's got a lot of metaphor and dialogue, which I always love.
Cool. Oh. Bell Ninja Haggleman, yes. The champion. I need to switch the belt because I'm always like sitting over it, but I have the belt right behind me. I need to switch it with this print on the side, and
Well, then
yes.
maybe if you zoom out your camera a bit, maybe it would show it more.
No, it's because when I'm sitting normally, I'm right in front of the belt, so people can't see it. But I actually
I
always
wanted
have.
to see your belt. You had it. I never saw it.
Yeah, it's always behind me. I hung it up, but then I realized that I always block it. So I'm gonna
Can
put it.
you actually, why don't you put it like put yourself on full screen for a sec, just so that we can check it out.
Whoop. How do I do that? Brain fart. Yay!
There we go.
Here we go. Dun, 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 dun.
Oh, it's got your Hellion.
Yeah, it's I did an unboxing stream, but it was kind of a disaster, so I had to private it because of audio. But it looks. Let me just take it up. Ah. If I don't knock over my screen thing. Here you go. It's so awesome.
God, it's huge.
It was so it's like actual leather. It's freaking heavy too. I was saying it feels like it's like 20 pounds or something. But
Can you actually
like-
wear it?
technically I can, but it's too big for me because the tightest setting is still bigger than my waist. It's gigantic. It's like an actual Dan's guy ordered it. Dan Frega's guy ordered it from this company that makes custom championship belts. So it's an actual like it looks like
but it does-
an actual wrestling
So it like
championship.
actually close up, right?
Yeah, it actually can close up. See, the button's on the side.
Oh,
But,
cool.
like, I can, like, kind of hang it around my hips, but it looks kind of stupid.
You gotta,
I
like,
was saying I could, technically, I could wear it as a bra around my chest, and then it would fit. But, anyways, so yeah, it's really cool, and I'm so thank you to Dan.
So like
This is so
when
awesome.
people win like beauty contests and stuff, and they have like sash. Maybe it's like big enough that you have to use it as a sash.
You wear it like this.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Like when they win it, they sometimes put it on their shoulder and stuff.
I don't think that counts. I think you need to take some pillows or some
just pillows and make just like try and force yourself to fit it.
Yeah, exactly. That's what
Well, I
said.
just like pad my stomach so I look like I'm like 50 pounds fatter and then wear it. I can do this. A lot of people with like championship belts wear it like this. I'm not gonna do this every stream because I feel it's a little obnoxious, but I do want to have it behind me. I'll move it. I'll switch it with this print so you guys can actually see it on stream. And I'm glad you guys are enjoying my Taiwan flag. It just came in. And so people have been saying YouTube's gonna strike me for having it. They're not gonna strike me just for having a flag. And if they do, that would be ridiculous, and I will shame them on Twitter or demonetize me. That would be stupid.
You know what? It was also really cool Miss Missrena. What was her?
Missrena. Missrena. Yeah.
Missrena actually brought up Sunstone. I was surprised. I was like, we don't ever really talk about erotic comics, so that was pretty cool. And that's actually one that I actually knew about. I didn't know the name, but like at the moment that I saw the, I was like, oh yeah, I've seen pages about this. Like I saw it around the same time that I found out about Buttsmithy. Really cool.
What?
I'm showing you guys that.
Buttsmithy?
Buttsmithy is really nice. Like you guys should check out the art. Really good anatomy. But it's like,
Can we all? Sorry. Sorry. Continue.
It's okay. I forget the age of the people but there is butts in that title.
No. That's not what I was gonna say. I was going to say that can we all agree now that Nick is a bigger weeb than all of us combined? So many manga and stuff that I haven't even touched. Or I've just like barely skimmed. I don't know. I just don't really read stuff anymore.
Yeah.
Too busy.
But yeah, it was just cool being able to actually like talk about the different comics. I remember in college there was an artist that actually came in and was talking about erotic comics, and I was really interested to just hear more about that because the room usually erupts in chuckles when the topic is broached, and but I'd love to talk more about different genres like that. And I don't follow a lot of erotic comics. I don't particularly like Sunstone. I like a lot of the other work from the same creator, but like Buttsmithy, I think is really fun to keep up with because like the pages are really well drawn, and I like the drama within the characters, which is something I think always raises an erotic comic. If you have good drama that is not just trying to lead onto sex, that is also really cool. It makes you feel invested. And, like the characters are not just vehicles for lust.
Mm-hmm.
That's I love that stuff. But yeah, again, art is so cool. You guys should see the anatomy in there. Really nice.
Chat will be.
Fantasy. So there's like halflings and like dwarves and like goblins. And
Oh,
stuff.
I think that one's about a halfling girl.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you just show that one to me.
Yeah, really pretty. And like the first few pages, you guys see now like in black and white, but yeah, the artist eventually goes like full color and like really good color on them too.
Cool. Chat will be shocked to know that I don't actually read that many erotica comics, as dirty as I am. So, but that would be really cool to do an episode about that. We'd have to be careful not to show anything explicit on YouTube, but that, I would like to. That is something that people. Sorry.
I would just love to talk about it.
Right. Well, just like what's out there and what are what are the series with good art and like what are the series with really good stories. That's interesting. I haven't seen people do videos or anyone talking about that genre specifically. We should do that sometime. Let's look into that.
It's only like talked about as like hentai, but then it's just like very like
right.
Just hentai, the word, and then the conversation ends because nobody has anything to say about it.
Right, where people just brush it all off as hentai when, it's not just all, like, cheap shit entertainment.
Well, isn't it, like, a sub... Well, it
no,
is
what I mean is just that the conversation doesn't really, when it's brought up, it's not seeking to have a conversation about it, but just, like, use the word for impact as punctuation and just end the conversation instead of starting.
Yeah, I think hentai is... If you, like... Ero is more the manga term for a comic that revolves around sex, but isn't like just explicit. There might actually be a story, it might actually be romance. Hentai is, from at least my understanding and what my impression is, it's more of the term for comics that are like, it's just
Smut?
about, smut. It's just smut. Yeah, and it's like light on the story, so that's why. And a lot of people brush off any comics that are explicit as just hentai, even if it isn't. It could actually be something with a story. It just happens to also be explicit.
Oh man, that was so fun. I could actually pull out my Manara comics, because I feel like that's also a cool topic of conversation. I love his art style, and I was very upset when that whole thing about like, what is it like? I think the same was like, where are her organs? Things came out, and just like people just started trying to hunt down comic book covers that are just like unrealistic, or like, oh, this is just about the
he
tits.
got
Like,
in hot water because of that one. I think it was
I
Spider-Woman.
think it was like I think it's more like Marvel got into troubles. But like, I think Manara got paid and then went back to drawing his erotic comics.
Oh yeah, I don't think he gives a shit.
Yeah,
oh yeah,
like,
the Spider-Woman where she was bending over, but was in the air.
Yeah, it was like, and I was actually really just like, that's really good anatomy. Are you guys really messing with Manara and his anatomy? Because that's a great cover.
Yeah, it looks nice. I don't know. It's,
Yeah,
well, that was so much where her organ. There's a bunch of other drawings that are where her organs.
I specifically also found that. People are complaining about that. People like, yeah, it was just, like, I think we even had those conversations earlier on when we would just hang out, just talking about like crappy covers that are just like women just kind of like breaking their spines to have their butt right next to their lips. So it's like, those are upsetting, but like, just trying to hunt down anything that is provocative and just tagging it as smut or just lesser art. When you're talking about such a great artist as Manara, it's just like, it really shows just how much you're just hunting down things to make them a target, and just thinking about actual art.
Well, not everything that is erotic is, like cheap entertainment, badly drawn art. The DeviantArt front pages, but I love it when, like, Manara's work and Enrico Marini his comics are very explicit, and it's great. It looks great. It's artistic, and there's a story element to it. So we got to talk about Marini as well.
I actually don't know that artist. What is his name again?
Is it Enrico? Enrico Marini.
Let me see if I recognize him. Oh
yeah, you recommended him to me, Nick.
I don't know him by the artist. I know his work. I know Rapaces, and I know Noir. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
She has some like really explicit stuff. It's really good art. Start to cause, doesn't hentai basically translate to pervert? Yeah, hentai in Chinese is 变态. It just means pervert or perverted. The way, East Asian languages work, it's not really a noun or an adjective. It's interchangeable, but yeah, it just means pervert or perverted. And so I guess that's why hentai is sort of the term for just like smutty comics and basically porn in comic form. But ero, I think, is more the term for like just explicit comics that aren't. It could be any explicit comic. From my understanding, DeviantArt is a terrible place. Yeah, that's true.
Not always.
Okay, since AC's like, I must defend DeviantArt. No, I like to trash on the current DeviantArt front page, but not always. That's true.
Granted, I haven't visited. I do visit DeviantArt occasionally, but it's just because I find a link from some artist that I like, and so I'm like, oh well, these great artists are still on DeviantArt. They're still making DeviantArt not a terrible place.
Yeah, I want to pull up Enrico Marini's work, but I don't want any nude pictures getting me struck.
Was the one that first recommended watching playthroughs of The Witcher. Like, here's a drawing by Enrico Marini of The Witcher.
Oh yeah, that one's really good. Here, let me share my. Hold on. There we go. Is it? Oh look, I have different modes. Oh wow, weird. I played around with that. Okay, anyways. So I think if I scroll down, there's gonna be smut, but Oh, there's sort of smut, but nothing was showing, so I'm fine. Oh my god, YouTube is so sensitive about this stuff. It's such a pain in the ass. But his art is really good. Look at this. Here's like a bunch of his characters together.
Yeah, but
Here's
your characters from more
Rapaces.
bosses.
Yeah, the vampire comic. This one. Oh, hey, look at that. It's Aquaman. Right? He's got this like really nice flowy style, and he watercolors everything. I don't know how, like, all these
You're gonna
European
have to have a
artists.
flowing style with watercolors.
Yeah, it looks like
Yeah.
he just works with like pencil and watercolor.
Yeah,
Well, I mean-
I saw a video of him working. He just pencils and he watercolor. He doesn't ink it.
Yeah.
So crazy.
I guess that makes
Sorry,
sense too, because that would just make it extra time consuming to just have to ink work with watercolors on top.
Oh, well, he doesn't have to. Yeah, see, it looks so
Yeah.
good. Oh my gosh. Look, so pretty. Oh, that's kind of smut, but it's fine. Nothing is showing. YouTube, don't strike me.
That's how is that smart?
I don't know. Literally, they're so sensitive about this stuff. Even if nothing is showing. Like, remember when I did the swimsuit draw stream? I was drawing, like, Yomi and Ragna. Technically, Ragna wasn't wearing clothes, but everything was covered. And I put that in the thumbnail, and YouTube was like, you can't have that in the thumbnail because she's technically naked. And I had to put, like, big black bars over it.
Oh gosh.
And
Makes me think about just how hard censoring went on like Yu-Gi-Oh cards. It's like people were not allowed to have bust size, so it's like they would just like completely remove cleavage and just flatten everybody out.
Oh my god. Let's talk.
I say used to. They still do even now.
Dude. Well, yeah, they still do that. I mean, I don't know. There's always, like, I don't get why there's always somebody in North America freaking the fuck out about, like, boobs, or it's like European artists will draw explicit stuff like it's no big deal, and in manga everybody's like, oh, big boobs are fun, and let's just, you know, it's all good fun, and then you have the Americans here freaking the fuck out on trying to change the art when it comes over here, and I just don't get it.
I don't know. Like again, in Europe, there's also like the time of the video nasties, where just like, you know, people just worrying too much about content and trying to just attack it. So it's not just in the U.S., but even companies that don't want to necessarily be censoring just need to kind of cover their asses, because the amount of money that you have to put into holding the rights to a lot of these properties is like, you know, it might actually just be better. It's silly, like when you look at the Yu-Gi-Oh stuff or like other properties like One Piece. Why did you even get One Piece if you were gonna censor the action? Like, how much money are you really saving? But it is protecting the asset that you got, even if you don't necessarily agree with that stance. Yeah.
I don't know. Well, as you know, if the way things work here is if any person who doesn't agree with something, nobody else can enjoy it.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say it's like how it works in YouTube, like what they're like noticing as problematic on thumbnails and stuff. Because I actually am familiar.
Oh well, YouTube is just YouTube. I kind of get it, but they used to be like kind of the Wild West, and you know anything went. But then they got really corporatized because you know they
got sponsors.
Yeah, they got sponsored. They got bought by Google, so now they're really corporatized. So they want to play things safe. And on one hand, I understand, but on another hand, it really annoys me because I feel like why can't they just have a mode that is marked not for kids? And I mark all my videos as not for kids, and because they have YouTube. Like,
here's the thing, Irene. You just need to be earning enough money on YouTube so they turn the other way. Because if you're big enough, doesn't matter if you're showing smut.
No, that's true as well. That is
like you're not doing it.
It's smut. It's it's even like talking about current events. Like small channels will do the same things as a large channel. They'll get struck, but the large channels will have resources, and all their fans will like freak out, and then YouTube will cater to them, and it's really frustrating.
But doesn't we talk about like YouTube having like a mode where it's like you just say like you don't want to view mature content? I think they already had that. Do they not? Like if you're actually checking that your stuff has mature content in it, then
are you talking about YouTube Kids?
Well, they have YouTube Kids. There's literally YouTube for kids, and then but also there's like regular YouTube, and then there's I don't know. I was thinking, yeah, you can have a mode that's like different ratings, So you set your YouTube to different ratings and like different modes, and like default YouTube, if you're not signed in, is just like milquetoast, like rated E or something. But you can have like, but then if somebody sets their channel or their videos to rated R, rated adult, then they can have like more explicit content and talk about certain subjects, but it's rated not for young people, not for children, or people who don't want to see it can opt out, and it's personal choice. But they don't have that. They just blanket say that you can't show. Yeah, even like I don't know, even a little bit of nudity will get you demonetized. It's really
it's just I'm agree. I gotta agree with Norm Rad. Could you actually zoom in on that Lupin the Third?
Wait, where?
Lupin the Third.
The guy.
Oh shit! I haven't.
Man, that is so weird looking at Lupin having such a strong jaw and an upper body.
Hold on,
Is he
where?
like usually just like a twig or something?
He is a noodly monkey. I kind of like him for that, for being a main man that is just so noodly and clearly not buff at all. So that was kind of funny how he's just like so. He looks like such a Chad.
Oh, that's
like,
so funny. Oh, look at his like little chicken legs too. Yeah, I mean the face, it still looks like Lupin though. That's awesome.
Yeah, because he has his jacket and clothing, but it's like in his hairstyle.
Yeah.
But that does not look like Lupin. That jaw is like a European action hero, like a 007.
Yeah, we really need to get me to watch something on the third, something or other.
Yeah, we'll try and find the least sexual Lupin the Third for. Oh, honey, you know what? We really could go for the least sexual. We could go for Castle Cagliostro. That's in Netflix. That's the super cutesy Miyazaki.
Okay, I'll go for the Miyazaki.
Is Miyazaki okay? Is that safe enough? Elsevier they have the tech to control what content kids access, but they don't want to. They use kids as an excuse. I kind of sometimes, I don't know. I don't think it's entirely like nefarious purposes. I think there's multiple reasons for censorship on YouTube and some other platforms. Part of it is that it's like, the 200 people living in California, 200 very affluent people living in, honestly, like very rich areas of California, thinking that everybody else should, their views on things are the correct way, and that's part of the problem. But beyond that, I think it's mostly like just corporatism. Well, I don't know if that's the right word, but it's because they've been corporatized, so they want to play things safe, and they want everything to be advertiser friendly.
Yeah, remember like what happened with the apocalypse? So many people just lost their channels, and, like had to like restructure how they even think about producing content and stuff.
Yeah, and I don't know. I get that, but I think there should be a balance. I get wanting to appeal to advertisers and wanting to not scare advertisers away, but I think there are advertisers who don't care as well. So that's another point. Like there are people who.
They're not the most vocal.
It's a minority, I think like regular everyday, most corporations want to play it safe because, that's just how corporations work. They start out innovative and then they move towards like wanting to play everything safe and, just not wanting to take any risks. But there are advertisers who don't care, so why don't they just have different settings and different levels to like adjust to cater to everybody's preferences instead of having a blanket policy?
I guess, yeah, until there's a big enough push, or like there's a big consequence for the way that they're leading things, or there's enough competition to actually force that kind of change. People don't change because it doesn't hit their bottom line. So as long as they can stay in a certain
look at that.
stay that way.
Yeah, he's just watercolors over the pencils. I'm like slowly scrolling down because I'm really afraid I'll suddenly come across one of his like smut drawings, and he does post a lot of those. Oh, Joker and Harley, look. But yeah, you guys, if you haven't seen his work, you gotta check him out. He's really good. Oh my gosh, look at that. I remember as I was like trying to learn to watercolor, I was never really good at it. I always liked acrylics more.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah.
I remember going to an art class, private art classes to just learn that, but I lost patience, and then I actually find it a lot more fun to just even use oil painting, because it's just patience about drying. But with watercolors, it requires a lot of control.
Yeah, and I think nowadays I've developed more control, but I remember being really annoyed because I was a little kid and I didn't have that much like pressure control with my drawing, and just everything turned out looking like shit, and I hated it, and I just preferred acrylics where I could layer things on really quickly.
Yeah.
So that's what I gravitated towards.
Yeah, and like I've always had a very heavy hand. Even with like pencils and stuff, even today, I always have to not sharpen things too far, because I'm always just cracking tips. And so like I
Oh my
can't
God.
I can't use those mechanical pencils that AC likes. Like I can really just like start using, like they always just break immediately.
Oh my gosh.
My favorite mechanical pencils. I draw with these all the time,
Can't
and they're
use
getting
those at all.
harder and harder to find. Twister eggs 0.5s. They're getting harder and harder to find. They have
That's the struggle of the traditional artist, honey.
I'm running out of eraser here.
Things like start running out, or they water down materials. Like just look at people trying to use Chinese ink. It's so much crappier now.
See if how dare you say that? We're not allowed to say that on YouTube. This
Well, we're
is
not
the.
allowed to do what?
No, I'm just joking. I was making a joke about YouTube being being annoying and scissors. I mean, this is just like kind of a generic drafting pencil, but you know what's funny? There's this like crappy all plastic mechanical pencil I had for years, and that was my favorite pencil to draw with. This is like this little piece of shit thing that was like $1 in Taiwan or something, and it was like the best pencil I ever had. But right now, this is what I use, and it's not like You know what's funny? When I draw traditionally, unless I'm doing like one of the auction pieces, or most of the time when I draw traditionally, I draw in my sketchbook, and I just use fucking ballpoint pen. I don't pencil, I just ballpoint pen and like use brush or something. And honestly, I found like ballpoint pen is a really good way to sketch, because I don't know, it's you can start out really light, and then you can and then work towards making it darker. And I really hated that pencil smudge, so I don't have any hardly any pencil drawings in my sketchbook.
Well, I mean, ballpoint pens can also smudge.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So like, you do have to be careful with them.
You learn how to use them.
Yeah.
Remember, like when I had a day job and I had like a slow work day or something, I started just like take some sticky notes and my ballpoint pen, and I just learned how to sketch with ballpoint pen from all those.
I also just like the feel of finished ballpoint art, because it kind of has that almost like school feel to them, just kind of young and almost like, I don't know, retro. I don't know. I like the feel of that, and sometimes when I see like other artists, I think it was it was the Freak Squeal comic. I like that one of the pages is actually just she just has a bunch of little sticky notes that she scanned of like ballpoint pens drawings that she just had of her stuff instead of just like full scans. It's just charming. I like that stuff.
Awesome. Well, I think we're kind of just chit-chatting now, and I don't mind that, but I did also want to update everybody on Fiendish. So hold on, I was scrolling down here. Oh, there we go. That one's really nice. Okay, I was like, I want to end on a nice image. That's so cool. His art is really awesome. You guys should all check him out. Enrico Marini. Yeah, I have to get back to work soon, but people did ask about Fiendish. Don't really have an update. I did post an update recently, and the information that I have right now is I posted a screenshot of my correspondence with the printer. And as far because it's been, remember we sent the print files to them it's been exactly a month, and it's not the printer's fault, by the way. It's not their fault. It's because of the shortages, and it's multiple people getting their books printed out are all being held up because we can't get paper. So as my printer has told me, they have a ton of paper on back order for a ton of jobs, and the way their supply chain is working is they just get like random shipments of paper, and they don't even know what's going to come in. Everything is delayed, and it's just whenever paper can come in, it comes in, and then they just look at what they have stock for, and then they start the jobs that they actually have paper for, and they're backed up on a ton of jobs, and it's apparently the same for every printer in the everyone that I've talked to, everyone that, I've heard from other people printing books and I've asked other printers, and it seems like it's just across the board in the US. And it's crazy.
Do you know why that is? Is it maybe like
supply chain
or something?
Yes, it is. It's, supply chain, everything. Like shipping, it's not just paper, it's everything, but it's especially bad with paper, and I'm not sure why. I've heard people say it's part of it is like a lot of our paper comes from Canada, and because of Canada is really harsh on lockdowns, so there's a lot of problems with shipping. But shipping is pure chaos, and I've noticed that a lot of things that I had wanted to order are suddenly like 3 months out with shipping. When at first it was, originally it's stuff that I want to buy on Amazon. I could have gotten it in like a week or so. So it's totally crazy. Everything is backed up right now, and it's great. It's great. But I'm going to keep everyone updated. The book, it's not like we're not going to get this book printed. It's going to be printed. We just have to wait until we have the paper. Like everything is done. The print file is with the printer, and I'm going to just keep on messaging them every week or so for an update. And they also said they will let me know as soon as they have the paper for my job. And I don't want to hound them too much, but I'm still going to message them every couple of weeks to check in on the situation. But it's like they've been really nice about it. They've been communicative, they've been nice, but there is just really like nothing to do about it. And when I do get the books, yes, someone asked about the road trip stream. I am going to be picking up books in person because they're in Florida. This printer is only about 6 hours from me, so I'm gonna be driving there and picking up the books myself, and I will share that journey because I don't want to pay for shipping, and also they're not that far. So whenever that happens, I will let everyone know, and I will be doing a video on it because I think it'll be good fun. And I can't wait because I can't wait to actually ship these books out. I have resolved, by the way, I am not going to launch chapter 2 until I have these books all shipped out. So because I don't think it's right if I'll have to sign up soon. I'm aiming to have to sign up in right at the beginning of February. So I'll have the chapter 2 information out. I have to sign up, but I don't want to launch a campaign while I still have the first book isn't in people's hands yet. That just doesn't sit right with me, and also I don't think that's what people. It doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make sense. Why would I be selling the second book to people if they haven't read the first one? So I don't know when the second book will launch. Probably it'll be March or even late March. I'm hoping. I've been working on pages and trying to get everything done as soon as possible. I just don't know with the delays on chapter 1 how much they'll be pushed back. It's really frustrating, guys. But anyways, here's some work on chapter 2 that I've been sharing. So there you go. I've been working as hard as I can at getting things done, but it's just nothing is getting produced. We can't get anything printed right now. Isn't that great? Arrgh. Nora said that's going to be fun. Yay, it is going to be fun. Oh. Let's see. Don't make fun of me. See, I can let me show you guys some more stuff from chapter 2. I'm gonna do that. Post images. Let's see. Well, I don't want to show full pages or anything, but let's see. How many pages do I have done? I don't even know anymore.
Nice hair.
Huh?
That's some nice hair.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, I've really been playing around with inking on right now. I think I don't know. I think the art in chapter 2 looks a lot better.
Is it are Yomi's ears really that pointy? I don't remember them being that pointy.
Yeah, they are.
Oh yeah, they're pointier than they used to be on the first issue.
Really?
Yeah, because before you'd see them like being kind of like a little bit askew at the top and leaning out, but like now they almost look like old timey fantasy manga where like the ear altogether just jets out.
I guess so.
Taking away from the silhouette of the hair.
I guess in chapter 1 I had her ears kind of curl up more, but what I realized was because the Ispoliad, which is what Ragna is, also have pointy ears, I want to differentiate them. And, see, like Ragna also has pointy ears, but they're very small pointy ears.
Mm-hmm.
They're almost like human ears, but just a little more tapered, so I want to differentiate, like, how they look. Even though once they're colored, they'll look totally different, because, you know, the devs are, like, purple with, like, dark ice sclera and shit, but... so here's another page. This is the page for Cosme and Ragna meet. Again, after having not met for a few years. I wonder what the story about that is. Ah! I'm so excited. That was a joke. Okay, anyways. Ah! And then there's this. Yay! I'm really happy with how the ink's
That's
out.
the line in the panel. That's what
right.
Kaz is saying. He's saying, "Yay!"
That's when Kaz rips out his nipple in defiance.
Yeah, totally. What?
Oh shit! Sorry guys, spoilers.
What the shit? Guys, I'm so confused. Anyways, I'm playing around with the inking a lot, and I like how chapter 2 is looking, and I'm getting as many pages done as I can.
Sam's got a question for you. Will there be a special item in the second campaign, like the plaques from chapter 1?
I'm planning out what items to have. So first of all, I will have, I've learned so much from the chapter 1 campaign, so chapter 2 will be much more smooth, and I'll have everything more planned out. I'll know what to do. I'll know how crowdfunding works, because I barely knew how crowdfunding works when I did chapter 1. So first of all, I will have variant covers. I already asked a few artists for variant covers, and a couple people have said yes, so I'm going to have at least like 3 variant covers. I'm doing 2 covers. I'm going to do the color cover, and then a grayscale, a black and white cover. Should I show that? Let me just pull that up. So why not? Let me just pull it up. But, yeah, I will have 2 covers by me, and then a bunch of variants, and then here's the black and white cover for chapter 2. And then think I will have the plaques, but it'll be limited run, because those are a lot of work, and I'm not going to have, like, because I wasn't expecting chapter 1 to have that many backers, so I didn't put like a limit on the plaques, and I took on way too many. So I'll have those, and also some just like little trinkets. I might have a standee again, I'm not sure. I'm actually looking into getting a 3D printed figurine, but I don't know if that'll be ready in time for chapter 2. And yes, if I want to do it right, I have to find somebody to model it. So maybe for chapter 2, maybe it'll be for the next chapter. I'd rather wait for like these really cool items like figurines, or like even, you know, those like gaming figures and dice and stuff. I want to have these items, but I'd rather wait to do it at a later chapter if I can't do it right now. I don't want to rush anything. So I will have a limited run of the plaques, most likely a standee, and trading cards. AC is actually already starting on the trading card, so I think the Ragnar trading card will be like a special reward for the sign up, and she's already almost done with that, so I will be showing you all that when the sign up goes up. I'm very excited. It looks really good. And I think probably like this little stuff like bookmarks, and you know, but I don't want to have too many extra items, you know what I mean? I really want my campaigns to be about the book. I want the focus to be the book. Like, I like having trading cards because I have like the character stats on the back, and that's something that, you know, as you guys know, I like to tie like comic into like role-playing games and Pathfinder. I make like all the characters playable, and in the chapter 2 playing cards will not just be the characters. I think we're going to have some cards of like the creatures and also the items. So we'll have some like magical item stats that you can play in D&D or Pathfinder if you want to. But I don't want to have that many trinkets. I would rather have the stretch goals go towards improving the book. I think that's how I want to work. Yeah. I just feel like that that's more fitting. But our art sketches are art tiers. Maybe. I think I'll have sketch cards from other artists, and I might do some sketch cards myself. So I think for extra items, I'll have let's see, sketch cards. Trading cards will be a reward for that. They'll probably just go to everybody, or I'll have that as a separate add-on. I'm not sure yet, but a lot of variant covers, and I think I'll have sketch cards and a very small limited run of those plaques again. Yeah. Blingo dies. Does Blingo die in the comic? Yes, he does. He dies in every timeline. I'm sorry, Blingo. So I hope that answers y'all's questions. But
Times in every timeline. I love the sound of that. Lauren says AC launch a Blingo book. Oh no, I don't think
you
that's
should.
I don't think Blingo. I don't know. I don't think that's gonna happen.
Yeah.
I
I can't help but just wish we have like a comic project of some of our Pathfinder games and stuff.
You know, like a part of me wishes that
I have a big attachment for me.
Yeah, right. Like I have wanted to. You know, you always want to like in your D&D or Pathfinder adventures, you just kind of want to draw them. And you want to like make comics out of them. I've done like little bits here and there and stuff, or little illustrations and stuff. It's
Also, just like in little one-page little comics.
yeah. Well, like little comic strips. I've got like one or two of those. You know, but
we've done. You know, because obviously it's AC, Nick, and myself, and we're all artists, so we've done a lot of drawings for a Pathfinder game. Well, that's what Chris Fisk is doing. His Infinite Tale book is essentially, that was a game module, like a role-playing game module that he was running years ago. But honestly, that was my original idea for Fiendish, like the first draft, which was totally different. Someday I'll tell you about how different the first draft was. It was.
Oh yeah, I actually don't remember at this point.
It was weird. Like Kaz's name was different. It was like
Wow.
it was Cade. Easkill was his name was Ivar. His character was originally called Ivar. Yomi wasn't. I didn't even have Dev, the purple people, in my first draft. It was a different, like, kind of. They were humans, but mixed with like a certain type of magic. And Yomi was this character called Yeria. I overhauled the story like twice before I came to like this general premise that I'm going with now. It was crazy. It was super different, and it sucked.
Like, someday I'll tell you about it. Goes on and get half-hour change.
No, I'm not going. Okay, I'm not. Okay, well, I'm not going to like tell you about the whole premise because that's way too much. But anyways, yeah. The original idea. My point was the original idea was to draw a comic that it was a lot of the characters originally were inspired by our Pathfinder campaign. Like I don't know if I mentioned, but Cosmere started out being really similar to a character that I play in Pathfinder, but ever since I started working on Fiendish, things have deviated, and Fiendish is no longer. I work really hard for it to not read like this is just somebody drawing a D&D campaign, because it's not anything. Like the story is not taken from our Pathfinder campaign, and he's laughing at me because that's what Nick does. It's fine. And I've worked. Now I'm losing my train of thought. Thanks, guys. Well, but I basically, anyways. Fine, I'll wrap it up. Anyways, I've tried to make it its own world that's not just somebody drawing a Pathfinder or D&D module. So you get what I mean. But it is very inspired by that. So there you go. Yeah.
And now that we have stats for all of your characters.
Yes, and now I'm trying to tie it back into Pathfinder and make it playable in Pathfinder, and perhaps we might be doing a module of it, but because I've built the world separately from what's in D&D, I've created my own fantasy world, and the magic system is different. It doesn't plug in exactly to the system that exists in Pathfinder and D&D, so there's a lot of work that we still have to do, but I do want to find a way to build sort of a something like psionics, how psionics works in Pathfinder, if anybody in chat knows about that. Like, it's a skin that you can put over Pathfinder, and with like a new set of rules that you tack on, and sort of I want to build like a fiendish skin, so to speak, that you can tack on to the Pathfinder rules and then play in the world of fiendish. So anyways, that's what I'm looking at. I'm nerding out about this. I'll stop right now. I'm going crazy. Oh, I'm too much of a nerd. Okay, but so that's the updates that I have for chapter 2, and the printing of chapter 1. The work is coming along really nicely for the second book, but we're still waiting on the first book, and I will definitely keep you guys updated. I'm sorry for the delay, but there's not much I can do on my end other than keep on asking for updates from the printer and make sure that they, make sure that I know when they're getting the books and they're updating me, and as soon as the books are printed, I will be driving down to pick them up right away because I really want to ship these out. I really want people to have the books, and that's all I got. So thank you to everybody who has still supported this despite the shipping and the printing problems that we ran into. We have 860 backers. I'm so flabbergasted people are still backing the book. Even now, I was like, I'm sure it's going to taper off, especially after New Year's, and people might back it once I start fulfilling, but I figured I wasn't expecting to get any more backers, but I still sporadically get backers every few days, so thank you to everybody who is still picking up this book. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much. And I promise it'll be really cool, and you're going to really like chapter 2 as well. Okay, let's wrap this up. We're just, I feel like I'm rambling on about Fiendish right now, and also I need to get back to work, but... Thank you guys for coming. I hope you guys like my background. Now you can see Ragna in the back.
It is really
Isn't
cool.
it awesome? Hold on, I have like a few different backgrounds as well. I can change like the logo color. I did a bunch of different colors for the logo. But I have the world map, and I have this poster. So I uploaded like a bunch of, now I'm paying like $20 a month for this, but I said I would get professional streamers once I got monetized, so there you go. I did it. I kept my promise.
Yeah, it looks cool.
Now the channel actually looks like mine. Yay! It's cool. Oh. Okay, anyways. Ryan Booth Thunder says 40k for the mukbang stream. Yes, if we get to 40k, I will do a mukbang stream. And now that I've said it so many times, I can't get out of it. So that's going to be horrifying and also fun, and I'll most likely be drunk. Yeah. So thank you guys for joining us today for another episode of Hellion Art Show, and thank you to AC and Nick for being my co-hosts. Come back. Our Pathfinder module has wrapped, and we're working on what game to play next, but it's probably going to be a while before we figure that out. So no streams on Sunday for at least like probably next month or so. Also, I really need to focus on work on chapter 2. So I'm focused on getting shit done, and I'm really not going to be gaming a whole lot right now. But that'll eventually be back. And next Wednesday, I have a lot of guests lined up for the next 2 weeks. And next Wednesday will be Veil Walker. And after that, we're going to, I think I have PTP on in February. Second week of February is PTP, and then I'm booked for like the next 5 weeks, so I'm really excited. There's a lot of really cool projects coming up. So join us next week, Wednesday at 8 p.m. EST, to talk about more comics and see what this Veil Walker project is about. It's also really cool art and supernatural stuff, and I'm excited about it. Yay! Maybe he says, "Congrats on the belt." Thank you. I'm gonna move it over so you guys can actually see it. Okay. Where can everybody find you guys?
You can search for me as AC Zamudio on Instagram and Twitter.
Same thing for me as Ink Imp or Ink Infinite, and I can be reached also at inkimpcontact@gmail.com.
Cool. And you guys can find me at Rini Draws everywhere. Of course, on YouTube. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, subscribe right now, and also like. And I have memberships, so if you'd like to join, you can do that. And you can follow me on Twitter at Rini Draws. My Instagram is also Rini Draws. Rini Draws everywhere. I have a Rumble. No, I do have Rumble, but actually, Rumble's too hard to use, so I switched. Huh?
What?
No,
What?
Nick is making more jokes that we don't get. I started a Rumble account, but I couldn't figure out how to use it because I'm stupid. So I have an Odyssey. I am reading draws on Odyssey, so go follow me there because I'm backing all my videos onto Odyssey. And check out Fiendish on Indiegogo, and I will be keeping everybody updated on the fulfillment for that. So awesome! Thank you guys, and I'll see you next week.
Right?
Bye y'all. Bye 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 bye.
Yeah, it's good to have you all here.
Yeah.